This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for ejdconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope you're feeling good on a beautiful Monday. Kind of a, at least for me personally, some of you may have been the same. It was kind of a lot of good things happened this weekend, a couple of negative things, unfortunately, but overall, I think it was a pretty damn good weekend when you start to think about the stuff that was going on in college basketball. And I got to tell you something. Look, you know, I will gladly admit when I'm wrong. And I got to say I'm partially wrong, not completely, but partially wrong about college basketball. It is not as good as it used to be. It's not even close. That I am 1,000% right about it. But I got to say this. It becomes much more fun for everybody now because everybody truly has a chance. And that's the one thing that I've come away with over the last couple of weeks since the tournament started, how it's kind of grown on me a little bit because it's fun because there's so much unknown. When we're watching back in the day, we kind of knew who were the big dogs and who were going to be there at the end and who were the big teams and all that kind of stuff. Once in a while, a Loyola Marymount was going to sneak in and surprise people and get to a certain level. But they weren't going to win it. But, you'd get a surprise team that would sneak into the Elite Eight, maybe into the Final Four, but more often than not, they weren't really going to win it. You know what I mean? And so, yes, I love stars. I love star teams. I love watching, Shaquille O'Neal or Michael Jordan or whoever for 3 to 4 years, playing. That's a lot of fun. That was amazing to watch NBA talent all over the place with UNLV and Duke for 2 years. But I will say there's something to be said about the way, not that they planned it this way, it's because of money and everything else that's turned out. Now your stars leave to the G League right away, or they go to Europe and they go get money right away. Very few of them go to college basketball. And if they do, they might do a one and done thing. That stuff is also kind of, done also. And so now you've got, your top players are getting NIL deals, but those guys aren't necessarily even guaranteed to be NBA players. The ones that are like the top of the creme de la creme nowadays in college basketball. It's not really even guaranteed that they'll be NBA players, impactful NBA players, rotational players. You know what I mean? But I got to admit, it's fun, man. FAU, and San Jose State. UConn is a name that's been there before in the past and all that. So they're kind of one of the, teams that used to be a part of this mix, back in the day. And they were always one of the elite teams overall. But when San Diego State and FAU and the University of Miami can make it to the Final Four, that tells you all you need to know. And that part is cool for college basketball. That part is where I really noticed it is all the kids across the country, man, in every one of their schools. And this is probably why the ratings are through the roof, because everybody has a legitimate chance. It's so ridiculous how people keep saying, well, no, this team and that team won't have a chance. And they keep poo-pooing the San Diego States and the FAUs and the UMs, and they keep leaning to, oh, it's Texas. Oh, it's it's UConn now. It's, and you're always going to hear about the other teams, the ones that you're used to because you've been programmed that way. I've been programmed that way. You've been programmed that way. But if you look at it, that is the beauty of the tournament now, of college basketball now, that you can legitimately say, well, we're at Central Florida. We got a shot. We just got to get the right guys with experience and, maturity and those kind of things. And, obviously you're going to need a good coach and everything. But you think about it, that's the beauty of the college basketball scene now. Okay. It's certainly, the play isn't special, not like it used to be. Okay, that's fine. You're not having NBA stars playing your league anymore, unfortunately. So I get all of that. But it is a lot of fun to watch when you don't know who can win and anybody has a chance. And that part is actually really, really cool. And it gives fans all over the country, the luxury of saying, man, we legitimately have a shot. It's not like, well, we're just lucky to be here, happy to be here type of team, which is what normally would happen to these kind of teams 20, 30, 40 years ago. If they would even be lucky enough to get to the Final Four, they would just feel like lucky to be here. The University of Miami and FAU and San Diego State can actually say, we can win this whole thing. And I know selfishly, we're all pulling for a FAU final. I mean, that would be just absolutely perfect for and FAU to play in the NCAA championship. I mean, that would just be absolutely sick. Two teams that are within 70 miles of each other, 60 miles of each other. I don't know what the hell the distance is between the University of Miami and FAU's campus, but that would be pretty cool that the national title is decided between two teams in two counties with a county in between them, and they're going to decide who's going to be the best team in college basketball. That would be pretty freaking amazing. But I have to say, this is the part where I missed the boat, and and obviously and experiencing it now. That's the cool thing. It's really nice that every team and every student fan base actually can feel like, yeah, man, we got a shot at winning this. We're not just happy to be here anymore. Really cool. Really cool. So congratulations to the University of Miami basketball team making it to the Final Four. Jim Larranaga now is the second head coach next to Larry Brown to take multiple teams to the Final Four with a 5 seed or worse. Okay, it's pretty impressive. He did it with George Mason back in 2006. And by the way, they also had to overcome a double-digit deficit to get to the Final Four, which, again, Miami had to overcome a double-digit deficit against Texas in order to advance. So Larranaga This is Larranaga's game. You got an even level playing field? Well, then Larranaga can kick your ass. Larranaga will outcoach you. Now, if Larranaga has to face a Kentucky team and a North Carolina team and a Duke team with, 3 McDonald's All-Americans and, experience and things like that, well, then, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for him to overcome that kind of adversity because they've got a clear advantage. His teams don't get the McDonald's All-Americans ever, pretty much. And those schools were getting them all the time. So in the past, he's always been at a disadvantage every single time. Now, he has the same advantages everybody else has. They all get the same amount of kids. They all have NIL deals. Everybody's got an even level playing field now. He's just as even as North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky and everybody else because they're not getting a whole bunch of McDonald's All-Americans anymore because the McDonald's All-Americans have disappeared. They're going to the G League. They're going to Europe. Very few are staying in college basketball. So now the Blue Bloods are no longer nearly as strong as they used to be. So now that there's more of an even level playing field, you've now played into Larranaga's hands. I mean, if Larranaga also went to North Carolina or Duke back in the day when they were rolling in all the McDonald's All-Americans, he would have a whole bunch of national titles. Jim Larranaga has proven that he's as good or better than anybody out there. He does it all the time. And to get George Mason to the Final Four, and back in 2006, it was harder to get to a Final Four than it is now. Well, it's a little different, in other words. But yes, it's still a challenge to get there because he didn't have those. He had less advantages at George Mason. And somehow he got to the Final Four, which is absolutely amazing. And why? Because he's a great, great coach. And that's the thing about this system now. As I told you in the first part, that the system has created an even level playing field, which makes it fun for everybody because everybody has a legitimate chance. Well, in this one here, what I'm telling you is the even level playing field has created an advantage for a great coach like Jim Larranaga, because that's what it comes down to now. If the talent really, there isn't a disparity in the talent and everybody's pretty much the same, then I'm going to give Jim Larranaga an advantage, because I know when it comes to pure X's and O's and coaching and communicating and connecting with players, I don't know how many people can actually be better than Jim Larranaga. I can't imagine there's a lot of men out there or women that coach basketball that do a better job of connecting with their team and their players than that guy does. That's why he always gets the max out of him. That's why he can get George Mason to the Final Four. That's why he's been to the Sweet 16 several times. That's why he's won the ACC a few times. It's because he's a great freaking coach, man. And we could talk about Jordan Miller's clutch performance, and we could talk about Isaiah Wong and Omer, that tough son of a bitch. Holy crap, Omer is a tough dude, man. Love that guy. Nigel Pack. I mean, he shot lights out. What was it? 7 of 10 against Houston the other night from 3-point range. Nigel Pack. That was awesome. They're terrific. And you just got to give Jim Larranaga all the love in the world, dude, for just being the kind of coach that he is, the kind of human being, the kind of man, the kind of, I believe, a father figure for these young men. You know, there has to be a comfort zone there, because you don't sell yourself to somebody that way unless you trust them. And so clearly Jim Larranaga has connected with his players and has won them over emotionally, not just physically and mentally, but emotionally, that they listen to him, they sell out to him. And then he obviously will guide them in the right direction 99% of the time. It's really cool. Really, really freaking cool, man. So great job getting the win against Texas, 88-81, and then obviously defeating Houston 89-75. All 5 starters in double figures last night. That was awesome. That was awesome. So congratulations to the University of Miami. Congratulations to FAU, man. They lights out. They were able to overcome also. Vlad Golden, the Russian center, was huge with 14 points, 13 rebounds, a couple of blocks. Elijah Martin added 17. John L. Davis, who's been obviously an anchor for that team, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Greenlee was lighting it up from three-point range, added 16 points. They defeat Tennessee on Thursday, 62-55, and then K-State, yesterday, 79 or Saturday, that is 79-76. Again, just an absolutely amazing run by FAU, and hats off. It's so cool to see what's going on in Boca also. It's a great campus. It's a terrific school. These two schools that we have in town, FIU and FAU, I understand that, FIU's had its problems because they've had, a disgrace in running their program in Pete Garcia. So that's kind of hurt them. I think FAU has done a way better job over the years at trying to lift their program, getting better coaches. They've had a slew of names at basketball, and they've got a terrific on-campus stadium. FAU is a great, great school, man. And FIU academically is fantastic too. Okay. I mean, I think FAU FIU is awesome, but they have dropped the ball a lot athletically. They had it going on years ago when Danny Price and Cindy Russo there, and then they had a couple of basketball coaches. Trying to remember the gentleman right before Shaky, and they had some success. And it looked like maybe that's when the program athletically was maybe headed in the right direction, but it's never been able to get it done, unfortunately. And they mishandled the Mario situation too and all that, whatever. So bottom line, FAU has done a much better job at handling everything athletically. And they probably have had more success, obviously, with Howard and everything else. And now you see what's going on with their basketball program. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool and well-deserved because it's a great school and good people running that program. It's pretty awesome, man. And I'm happy for all the Owls fans out there. That is pretty freaking cool. GP Trap tells me it's 48.8 miles in between the University of Miami and FAU. I mean, who's not pulling for FAU for a championship? That would be perfect, man. That would be absolutely perfect if we can do that. What do we got here? Jamie Zorrilla is number 1 in there. Remember to smash the like button. Although I refreshed it, maybe it wasn't Jamie. Kyle Cockrell is in. Let me see. I could just go to the original chat board. Yeah, it is Jamie. Jamie is in number 1. There we go. And then Brian Walters says, how about them Canes? They saved they saved this bad weekend for Miami teams. Everyone lose by them, and the Canes girls won on Friday in FAU. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kyle Cockrell is in. Green Lion. John Padilla. Isais is in. Robert Brian Walters says, Big O, fire up the victory cigar. Let's do it. Sean, give me the victory cigar. There we go. A little victory cigar for UM. Give me a victory cigar for FAU. And then give me a victory cigar for Nova Southeastern University, the Division II national champions, after defeating West Liberty 111-101 and finished the season 36-0. Victory cigar. By the way, the Graziani kid, that's a tough little dude there, bro. Tough dude there, man. That was good. That was fun to watch. Got to admit, we're not watching a lot of Nova games. I mean, for me personally, I got to work with Nova for a few years when I was at 640, and they are such fantastic people. It's a great little campus. It really is. It's a really terrific school, actually, academically too. Kids that go there, they're getting themselves a great education, a terrific experience also. They have created a nice atmosphere. If you've never been to the Nova campus, and if you're thinking of, where to go, you should just go by there to check it out in South Florida. For you parents that are watching, you should just go check out the Nova campus. It really is a nice campus. Really cool. So happy for Nova as they defeat West Liberty 111-101, but 36-0. Yeah, I don't care if it's high school. I don't care if it's Division II. I don't care if it's Division I. You go undefeated 36-0 to maintain that perfection all the way through. Wow. Miami Dolphins and Nova Southeastern University. And well, I think the Canes football team also has done an undefeated season, maybe a couple times, right? Might have been a couple times that they've done the undefeated run. So only a couple of teams have had undefeated seasons. Nova Southeastern University is joining the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Hurricanes football team. I don't know if there's anybody else that went through a pro season or a college season undefeated. I don't know if there's anybody else. Am I leaving anybody else out? Anybody remember somebody else? Another team that I'm forgetting, college or pro? I don't think so. I'm going to say Nova, 72 Dolphins, and the Canes. I don't know exactly which years, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 years where they were fully undefeated. Give me those years, Sean. I'm sure you're looking them up already. What else do we have? Giovanni is in. Tua time in. WrestleMania this week, he says. Billy Shaw in. J-Town. Akaris, Gus 1388. Travis says, we all got to watch all these damn commercials before seeing his show. It always makes me tune in somewhere else instead. Hey, Travis, asshole, that's how the show works. Without those commercials, there is no show. How stupid are you, bro? Seriously, you're this close to getting blocked. Just because I don't need to read stupidity. Seriously, what do you think, bro? You think the insiders come on for free? You think Sean Stanley works for free? You think I'm doing this because mom and dad pay for the house and I'm just sitting in the basement playing with myself? It's a business. That's how we get to go to the Combine and the Senior Bowl. This is why we're going to go cover, Zach Thomas. Those commercials. You freaking moron. You know what, bro? Block his ass. Block his ass. I don't need a moron like that on the chat board. Block his ass. He's gone. Travis. I mean, some of you are just incredibly stupid. Seriously. Like, I'm in a good mood, and now this asshole comes in with something stupid. Moron. Bro, get lost. Don't even come back to the channel. How about that? Just leave, bro. Okay? Forget about all of us. And by the way, you don't get out of jail. Ask anybody else that's been blocked. They don't get out of jail. Okay? You might have to come personally and apologize. Personally. Okay? Maybe I'll let you out. I think I did it once. I think a guy went to, where was I? I was at, it only happened once, and I remember it. What's the name of that big ass bar, Twin Peaks? I was in Davie and Twin Peaks, and a guy came by, and he was cool. And so I let him off the hook. You will not be off the hook. You are gone. What a moron. Not only do you watch the commercials, you guys need to visit our sponsors, because that's how we're going to grow and be able to add more. But obviously, we don't need a guy like Travis because he's not going to support our sponsors. So if you're not supporting our sponsors, you're not supporting us, then I don't need you, bro. You know what I mean? I don't need people that are counter to what we're trying to do in this world. It's hard enough to survive in this world. It's hard, and it's even harder to have to deal with idiots that are getting in your way and not even part of helping you build something that you can't find on radio. Gordon, thank you for chiming in. Alex Palenzuela, Terry Lynch, True Fin Fan is in. Anthony Perez. Omar, yes, he's back with SI. Nano Filmmaker says Nova Southeastern wins the D2 Men's Championship. That's right. South Florida basketball mecca. Steve Chapman is in. Nano, yes, sir. What do you got for me?
It looks like 88 and 91 for the Hurricanes.
Okay, so it was 88 and 91. Thank you.
Yeah, I may have missed a year, but that looks like to be the years.
Okay. Yes, sir. San Diego State. Did I say something else? Did I say San Jose or something? Did I say something wrong? I don't know why Nano's saying that there, but Paul in Connecticut is in. Roderick says, I guess we're a basketball town now. NSU Division II champs, an undefeated season on top. The UNFAU in the Final Four with a chance they will meet for the Natty in basketball. It'd be so awesome. It'd be so awesome. Yeah, I read Travis's comment, and then you saw what happened, Steve. You figured it out, right? Those of you that have been on it long enough, you kind of know what sets me off, right? You know what sets me off. Devin Jordan is in. Alex Palenzuela in. Lisa says she's in. Drago. Sounds like you're saying the court is now level with NIL until the bagman finds a way around it. Well, right now it's level. Ray Sosa in. Pat in Asheville. Pat, we're in. We're going to Atlanta. I got to reach out to you. But we're going to Atlanta. We're going to go see The Cure. We're going to go to that show for sure. Okay? So I got you. Let's see, Frankie Fresco. And we got to hang out, Pat, before. So you're going to have, Pat, you know what you're going to have to do? That day, you're going to have to pick a bar somewhere close to the stadium so we can meet, have a drink, whatever, and then we'll go together into the concert. Because obviously you're going to have to lead, right? Because you got the tickets. I don't even think you can transfer. Oh, no, I heard you can transfer them. You can sell them face because you can only sell them for face on there. I think that's how it goes, actually, because Robert Smith made it that way. So actually, you might be able to transfer them to me, and I can then sell you the money or whatever it is I got to do. So we're in for sure. We're going. I was talking to I was with my buddy Greep this weekend. We went to go see the Winery Dogs on Saturday at the Culture Room. Any of you were at the were at the Culture Room this Saturday, you saw a freaking hellacious show. Just Dave Portnoy was amazing. Richie Kotzen sounded great. He shredded on the guitar. And Billy Sheehan, just one of the greatest bassists of all time. There's a part of me that I am so blessed to have seen Steve Harris so many times, to see Les Claypool, to see guys like Flea, to see a Billy Sheehan. I have witnessed John Entwistle. I have witnessed some of the greatest bassists, Geddy Lee, of all freaking time. And I was just thinking about that on Saturday night when I'm watching Billy Sheehan. And I'm like, wow, man, I have seen some of the greatest bassists ever. And Sheehan is right up there with all of them, you know. And we're splitting hairs. We're talking Steve Harris and Les Claypool. And, you know, anybody that tells me Les Claypool is the best, I'm not going to argue with them. You know what I mean? And if you want to tell me my guy Steve Harris is the best, then I'm not going to argue with you either on that, you know. But it's just, wow, Saturday was a hell of a show. So Pat, and I was talking to my buddy, we're definitely flying out to Atlanta to go see it because half the show in Atlanta will be different than the one I see here in Miami. For those of you that don't know, if you go see The Cure, they change easily half their set from one night to another. Easily. The last time I saw them 2 nights in a row at the Bayfront Amphitheater here in Miami, they did 54 songs in 2 nights. 54 different songs in 2 nights. They did 30-song sets, like 30, 32, 33, something stupid. And they only repeated a few. 54 different songs in 2 nights. So if you have a chance to go to a second Cure show or a third, I would do it. If you love The Cure like I do. So, Pat, I will see you there, buddy. Ray Sosa's in. Alexis Palenzuela's in. Heat Finn says South Florida would be a war zone if that happens. What, FAU and UM? Be awesome. Jordan Miller's a stud. Yes, he is. He's clutch too, man. Money player. John Padilla goes, Travis Radcliffe crying about the show starting. There's 3 to 4 hours with hardly any commercials. Exactly. We have like 3-4 minutes of commercials in an hour. You listen to radio, it's a half hour. You listen to satellite radio, they'll have like 12 minutes of commercials in an hour. Maybe 14 or 15 or something. We have like 4. It's like the most content you can get anywhere. It's constant talking. Okay? Like we roll from one thing to another. We're not giving you 8-minute segments and then an 8-minute commercial break and then 10-minute segment, then a 7-minute commercial break. And we're not doing that shit. You know, and it's like, that's why I had to block the guy, because the ignorant fool to be complaining about our amazing sponsors at the beginning of the show, you know, because the idea is to get the show rolling so it sends out the show live. And then people know it's live, and then they're getting the notification bell hitting, and they go, oh, okay, they're live. And so they go into it, and then they see that, okay, I haven't missed anything yet. Commercials are still playing. All right, cool. You know, by the way, the Cutter's Edge Pro commercial is cool. The Youth Fair commercial is fun. I mean, it's not like it's terrible commercials or anything like that. Give me a break. The Cutter's Edge commercial gets me going with that music. But anyway, whatever. And then, you know, it's like what John says. Then after that, you like don't hear commercials that much. Oh man. Mark says, gotta pull for Coach L as a kid. I want to Terry Holland UVA basketball camp where Coach L was an assistant coach at the time. Good dude. Nice. Terry Holland. How about that? Are you talking about like Terry Holland, like the former Phillies guy? Was it Terry Holland? But he was a basketball, so it can't be the same guy. Or maybe I'm mixing up the names. What's the Philly guy? Terry Holland? Or was it Terry Hollins? Or was it Ryan Holland? I forgot, but there was some Philly that was kind of the same name. That's why I got it confused. Big O, do you think Greer feels good enough with Tua's talent level to mortgage next year's early picks again if someone like Washington or Robinson falls out of the top 15? I don't know, bro. That's a crazy hypothetical question. I think he's totally committed to Tua, but you know, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Indiana State and Bird in 79, small schools, even though they were ranked. Yeah, they were ranked the whole year, dude. There wasn't like they were a small school, but they got like the hick from French Lick. And they ended up getting, you know, one of the 2 best players in the world. Him and Magic. You know, so it's not, they were a small school, but they really ended up getting a big push by one guy that, you know, that's what I was telling you about college basketball. That when we were watching college basketball back in the day, the all-time greatest players were playing college basketball 3 to 4 years, and then they went to the NBA. We no longer have the greatest college basketball players of all. I mean, the greatest NBA players playing in college basketball anymore. Those guys are gone. They're off to the G League or Europe or whatever. And that's what's going on. Unfortunately, they're not playing college basketball. So it's not really, your argument doesn't fly. It's just a small school, but they ended up getting a superstar player because he was from the same area. And he didn't really need to go to North Carolina to get his, his freak on as others would. Dougie Fresh says, Larranaga was our coach at George Mason, where he continuously outcoached teams with more talent on their bench. He gets the best out of everybody, has a plan, and players know he has it. Exactly. You are correct. We go, imagine Canes versus FAU in the finals. That's like both of your kids making it to the championship and playing against each other. Everyone wins. Yeah. Although it'll be painful for the loser, because to get that far, Devin, and not win it all, doesn't matter who you are. It's devastating. Absolutely devastating. So, yeah. Yeah, so a lot of questions there. Big O, not sure if you've given your take on FSU and Clemson making it known that they want to leave the ACC and move to unequal revenue sharing. Miami would obviously be a part of that. They can talk all they want, bro. They got to buy their way out of it. They're going to have to spend over $100 million. You can talk all you want about it. That doesn't mean you can get out. Pat Nashville says, I got you. Unfortunately, you can't transfer the Cure tickets directly to others. You can only relist them online. Oh, okay, so forget about it. So then what we'll do is we'll walk in together. That's it. No big deal. So we'll have a beer, and then we'll walk in together. That's all. Either way, bro, we're going to enjoy the Cure in Atlanta. That's for damn sure. All right, it is time to unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Well, Cam, have you just figured out you've been covering the wrong sport in this town?
Absolutely, right? Should go where the winners are, right? That's college basketball, obviously. How many people, and maybe you guys, bro? I don't know. I clearly do not make good life choices.
You could be covering Nova. You could be covering a national champion in Nova Southeastern, bro. You could be covering a Final Four team at FAU and UM. What's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah. It's crazy.
You could cover the Lady Canes going to the Elite Eight. It's amazing what's going on in this town, dude. Huh? Is that crazy?
Yeah. The Mecca of college basketball. That's what they're calling it, right? South Florida, the new Mecca of college basketball. Now it's been
for a guy like you that really isn't yet like a full entrenched South Floridian yet, in 10 more years, if you're still here, you'll probably start to really feel more about the local teams. But does it give you a little buzz? Because I know UM and FAU don't mean anything to you, but it's you're kind of you're entrenching yourself, your family here in South Florida. So how do you get on the bandwagon?
So I'll have to preface this with this: the Canes beat my Houston Cougars in the Sweet 16, and so I was rooting against them in the Sweet 16, and it did not work. They beat us pretty good, and it hurt. But since that loss, I have been on the Canes bandwagon, and now FAU's bandwagon. And I'll tell you what, there is a special feel. Like it's cool when you go. Like I was at a sports bar to watch that game. You see all the Canes fans uniting, and this is a fan base kind of like the Dolphins, where they haven't been good for a while, but they're a national relevant team. I'm talking about the Canes as like a sports period. Like football, it's been since the 2000s since you could really trust the Canes, and so it
It's a
feels like
brand. It's a brand.
right. It's like the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a brand, but most of the Dolphins that you talk about are from the past, right? That's what the heyday is. It's sort of like it's not as far in the past, but it's still the past for the Canes.
Individuals. Nowadays, it's just Dolphin individuals you might talk about, but not team accomplishments. You're correct.
Exactly. And so this feels like everybody getting back together, like, whoa, this, and it almost feels like a little bit of a surprise. Like, I don't know, maybe you know more than me, but this didn't feel like throughout the season, oh, this is a Canes team that could go to the Final Four. It felt like, hey, they're good, but I don't even know if even their fan base realistically said, hey, we're Final Four bound. But then it starts to get together and you start to win and you're like, wow, we can do this thing. We can do this thing. And now they're right there, like coming back the way they did against Texas. And I love that because I hate Texas. Us Houston folks, we hate the University of Texas. And so I got a lot of joy out of watching them crumble down the stretch and the Canes come back from, I think, 13, 14 down to win that game. And FAU is just an incredible story because just being real, I did not know that FAU had a basketball team until this year. Yeah,
wow.
That's like maybe that's just me and not being in on it. Like I'm
that's
sure
it is.
they had.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't know. Like
they've had all kinds of like big names coach at FAU. Yeah,
really?
dude.
I obviously knew they had a football team, but a lot of times you have some Division I programs that have a football team, but not necessarily a basketball team. It doesn't always correlate. And so I hadn't heard much, and obviously it makes sense because it's their first tournament run that I didn't hear of them, but I hadn't heard much of it. And so to see them kind of make this run is special. Like I've actually got a buddy who works in for ESPN West Palm and up there, and so he's been covering this team from the start. And I've been watching vicariously through him as he goes on the road and they're having watch parties where there's 300-400 FAU fans in these random cities. And I'm like, that's dope, for this fan base to get to experience this. And now they get to go to Houston. He's going to Houston to cover them. So I am very much rooting for. I'm not partial to either one. I would just love to see at least one of them. I mean, it would be dope. The dream is to have a Miami FAU championship game, but I will settle for one.
I'm going to give you Dusty May is their current coach.
Okay. Yep.
He's the guy that has no name out of the last 6 names that they've hired. How hardcore of a basketball fan are you?
I say I'm decent, but probably in the last 20-25 years.
You ever heard of Sidney Green?
No.
Okay. Well, Sidney Green was a pretty damn good NBA player. Played for the Milwaukee Bucks. You ever heard of Matt Doherty?
Yeah, I've heard of Matt Doherty.
He played with I believe he's the one that played with Michael Jordan. Rex Walters played for the Heat, played for Kentucky. Rex Walters? No. Mike Jarvis.
Mike who?
Mike Jarvis, the coached St. John's.
Yep.
Washington coach. Michael Curry played in the NBA.
Yes, very familiar with Michael Curry.
Then Dusty May. These are the coaches that have been there. Yeah, but my point is that program has been trying, dude. They have brought in names. They have tried to really build their basketball program, and they have not been able to. And it's funny how, Dusty May has been the guy that's kind of, broken through here. Now, college basketball has changed. Look, I'm a sourpuss to a certain extent because I lived the 80s and the 90s, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, you're never going to match me watching Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan and Larry Johnson and David Robinson and all these guys play for 3 and 4 years. You can't beat that. You'll never be able to top that now. And that's why I've been a sourpuss. This is basketball is not as entertaining to me as the other. But I will say this. This is the cool part about this one. Everybody's got a shot.
Yeah.
And that's actually really, really, bro, San Jose State, San Diego State, I'm sorry.
San Diego State.
Miami and FAU are in the Final Four.
Right. UConn's the only quote-unquote big team in the Final Four. And none of them are 1 seeds. None of them are 1 seeds. None of them are 2 seeds.
Right.
I think UConn may be the highest one as a 4 seed, right?
I think so. Yes.
You know, because
Yeah.
Miami's a 5 seed,
Yeah.
San Diego State is a 5 seed, and FAU's a 9 seed. So you got
Right.
a 4, 2 5s, and a 9. You know, that's the parity of college basketball. That's why we love March Madness, because anybody can beat anybody. We got a 16 that beat a 1 this year. You got a 9 seed in FAU in the Final Four. And I hope some chaos happens. That's why I say I hope FAU or Miami wins it all. It would be incredible here. And I almost want FAU to win it a little bit more just because of the chaos. That it's like, who is FAU? And they come on and win a national title. So yeah.
It's crazy stuff. All right. Your thoughts on the Dolphin offseason? What needs to happen next?
Yeah, I'd say that the offseason is probably largely, for the most part, this will be the free agency acquisitions. A lot of times you'll get a couple tricklings after the league meetings. Like right now, the league meetings just started in Phoenix. And so today, tomorrow, you'll have NFL teams there talking with agents. And a lot of times you'll see some veteran free agent deals come this week coming out of the league meeting. So there may be a signing or two for the Dolphins. It could be for another team. I don't have any info as far as what that would be, but that would probably be the one push. And then after that, it's probably nothing into the draft. And after that, pretty much everybody waits to the draft to see what they get, what they don't get. And then you fill the rest of your holes after the draft or right before training camp. And so for me, I'd still love for them to get a little bit more offensive line depth, particularly at right tackle. From what I understand, they have not had any conversations or any fruitful conversations with Brandon Shell, who I know you've talked up a lot. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe they're waiting, or maybe they just have somebody else in mind. But that would be a position that I would expect them to target at some point. Obviously, the draft's an option, but I would love to see them get a veteran in there as well to compete at that position. And then I'd say some more depth in the defensive side of the ball. You know, whether it be another linebacker, bringing in another cornerback, bringing in another defensive lineman, get a little bit more veteran depth to compete there, because I think they have their starters pretty much intact, but you need a little bit more depth for injury wise. So that's probably what I would look at. But I'd say that 90% of your veteran free agency is done by this point.
Bobby Wagner just re-signed
Seahawks.
with Seattle for 1 year for $7 million.
Yep.
That's and $7 million goes a lot farther in Florida than it does in Washington.
It does. That shows you that the Dolphins did not have much interest for better or for worse. I know we talk a lot about the big names here. It's like, what about Bobby Wagner? What about this
Wagner
guy?
and Long in the middle would have been fun.
It would have, but clearly teams have evaluation. And so the problem
is Baker ruining this. Is Baker ruining this? Because they really can't get out of the deal until next year.
Yeah, they would have had to make a decision before his deadline, his guarantee picked up, which was the Friday of the first free agency week. And so they essentially decided to keep him with the contract as is. So his contract is guaranteed. And so Jerome Baker, barring a trade, will be on the Dolphins in 2023. They're not going to pay his guarantee to get rid of him. And so he'll be on the Dolphins, and most likely David Long will start next to him. Now they'll have Tyndall compete probably for that third linebacker spot. But like I said, just based on what we saw from him last year, I would feel more comfortable getting another backer in that room, especially given Long's injury history. So if somebody gets hurt, you have a guy that you can trust playing on defense. Obviously you have Duke Riley there, but I think you'd rather have him as more of a special teams, depth competition guy, not necessarily as your, one play away guy. And so that's why I say that. But, age is an issue sometimes at free agency. There's a lot of ageism going on. I actually had a player ask me about Bobby Wagner earlier in free agency, like, why is he still in the market? And I'm like, the reality is, he's 32, 33 years old at a heavy contact position. A lot of times teams view linebacker like running back on the defensive side of the ball. And so you get a running back who's 32 years old, even if he's been productive, you're not going to see a lot of teams lining up to sign him, And so I think that's what you're seeing for Bobby Wagner, teams saying, okay, he's 32. We've got to go year by year with him, because any year could be the year he drops off, which I don't know if I feel that way, but I think the market is telling Bobby Wagner that, you're towards the end and we just can't allocate a lot of money or a lot of guarantees into you beyond 1 year.
Yeah, no, clearly they obviously weren't big on Bobby Wagner because 7 million is not a lot for 1 year, and I think that that's where we're at right now. That there's a lot of people now that they're facing. Um, they're dealing with the fact that they're not getting any of the offers that they thought they were going to get now. At
Right,
this point,
right,
we're in a phase
and
now where you're probably haggling with people, and they're kind of pissed off right now that they're still out there.
yeah, the reality is if you're still in the market right now, whatever you thought you were going to get initially, you did not get. Maybe you still get a decent deal, but maybe you were asking for 12 million and it's not out there. And then you start asking for 10 million and it's not out there. And ultimately you got to accept 7 or 8. And a lot of times when you go lower than what your initial price is, you go to what's comfortable. And so I'm not saying Bobby Wagner could have had an offer out there for 1 year, 7 million, 1 year, 8 million somewhere else. But he's like, hey, if it's going to be this price, I'd rather go back to Seattle where I played most of my career and I'm comfortable and I can make it a sort of a swan song recap of my career. A lot of times if it like you said, if the money becomes a thing where it's a lot lower than I thought, then I'd rather go where home is.
Tight end, it looks to you like the draft because it's a heavy draft in tight ends. They have a second and third round pick. There'll be a bunch of those going during that time.
Absolutely. Like I said before, probably the best tight end draft in a decade is what Daniel Jeremiah, our draft analyst, said. And by result of that, this has been one of the weakest tight end free agency markets we've seen in some time. A lot of guys got a lot less than they hoped to get because teams are waiting and saying, hey, we can get a tight end in the third, the fourth, the fifth round that maybe it would be a starter for us in year one. And we could do it for $800,000 versus 5, 6, 7, up to $10 million. And so, yeah, I do think they go into the draft hoping to get a tight end, and for whatever reason they don't, then maybe they come back to that position after the draft and say, hey, who's still available in the market. But I'd imagine that you look at their lineup as they have it. Durham Smythe, they got Eric Saubert, and they got Tanner Connor essentially as their top 3 tight ends. And all of those guys are probably more fit for the number 2 role. And so there's still room for a guy to come in and take that lead role. But it also tells you that whoever's at that spot's got to be able to block, because you got a guy like Durham Smythe, you got a guy like Eric Saubert. Both of those guys are blockers first. They can certainly catch, but they're blockers first. Mike McDaniel's telling you he needs that for his tight end to get on the field. Obviously didn't have that for Mike Gesicki. So there's definitely a handful of tight ends in this draft that I think probably start for you day one who can both receive and block. So yeah, that'd be my guess.
Well, apparently your boy Tom Pelissero is reporting that Lamar Jackson says he requested a trade. I think Lamar Jackson is so out of touch. It's amazing to me. But anyway, he says he sent a letter to his fans. Wait a minute. I think we lost Cam there. Let's see. Do we have Cam back? Cam is back.
Yep.
Here's a letter to my fans. I want to first thank you for all of the love and support you've consistently showed towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate you all so much. I want you to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions. And so Lamar Jackson mess continues, and this is no surprise to me. I kind of felt this was going to end in a holdout anyway, because he's just got, unrealistic expectations here. And nobody is giving him $200 million guaranteed. They're not giving a running quarterback. The problem is he can't decipher between what happened in Cleveland and what's going on with the rest of the league. And the rest of the league is trying to tell him, bro, that deal was those morons. We're not doing what those morons did. We're not doing that. And so there's a stalemate going on. How's this going to end? Because if he wants to hold out, he has not learned how to gain any kind of leverage in any of this, quite frankly. He doesn't have an agent.
Right. This has been one of the messier quarterback situations I've seen in some time, especially for a guy who is essentially, for better or for worse, the team's franchise player. And he has been that way for 5 years. He's won an MVP there. Like, he's the face of your franchise. When they sell season tickets, like the Dolphins sell season tickets, they're going to put Tua on the banner. Maybe they have Tyreek and Jalen on the background now, but Tua's on the banner, right? Lamar is on the banner. Lamar is outside the stadium when you put up banners, you sell season tickets, you're doing everything. It's Lamar. And so you figure.
You know what's the worst part about it? What's the worst part about it? I wish he was an asshole.
Yeah.
I wish he was a bad dude. That way I can laugh at him and I can say, yeah, you know what, bro? This is karma. Good for you. This is a great young man.
Really good dude, dog. Really good dude. And the awesome thing for, I know we're South Florida based show. I think what is not talked about Lamar that's really cool about him is that he is a pillar in this community, and he's really created a lot of a whole generation of players, of kids who want to be like Lamar. I've been out there in Pompano Beach, some areas where he's come out here to Fort Lauderdale, and you would think this dude is the president, the way people flock up to him. I don't know if there's a more popular quarterback amongst kids than Lamar Jackson. Clearly there are better. Clearly you have a Patrick Mahomes or
it's the other guy.
But I think Lamar maybe in especially in certain city communities, Lamar is the most popular quarterback in the league, and because of that, a lot of kids are Ravens fans. And so I always believe if you have a quarterback like that, you figure out a way to make it happen. Whether it's the quarterback figuring out how to stay and taking whatever number he needs to.
But it's up to him. He's not doing his part. That's the problem here.
See, I don't know if I put it all on Lamar. I put it on both of them. You figure it out. You figure it out. I always compare these things to relationships, right? I did this on GMFB. Me and my wife. My wife might be upset at me for something, or I might be upset with her for something, and we have an argument that may last for a while. Okay. Typically, it doesn't last long, but if we have an argument that goes for a day or two, at some point for us to stop, one of us, whether it's me or her, it doesn't really matter whose fault it is. Most times, I'll just call it what it is. Most times, I believe it's her fault. She probably believes wholeheartedly it's my fault. But most times, somebody
clearly she doesn't listen to sports radio. But go ahead.
Sometimes somebody has to budge, and I would say probably 80-90% of the times it's me.
Well, but it's me. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're negotiating on two level playing fields. You and your wife. When a NFL team is negotiating with a player, you are basically negotiating with your kid. And that's not really going to go well because there's an IQ level difference. There's a priority level difference. Your child is going to come up with the silliest shit to make their argument, and you're trying to come up with real shit going on. And this is the problem here. We have a child in the negotiations because any player is not an agent. Any player is a neophyte next to a lawyer, next to a contract negotiator that understands every aspect of all of this and can be your shield from the negativity and all that kind of stuff, because you have now put the team in an uncomfortable position that they've got to tell Lamar's mom his negatives. So all of a sudden now you're dealing with your child, and this is not a way of negotiating, my brother. It's just not.
I disagree with that because I think that's a dangerous comparison. Just my perspective, because if you're comparing Lamar to a kid, then I think you're in a sense.
What I'm talking about is your education.
Right,
that's
but I think that's dangerous.
I'm just saying your kid is not going to be as smart as you at 10 or 15 or 20 as you are in your years. No player. Not Lamar. Any player cannot walk into a negotiation, just like you cannot go into court and go defend yourself. It's the same bullshit. You're too stupid to do that at that point.
I could. See, I think that's dangerous.
You could, but it would be incredibly stupid to do it because you'd rather hire a lawyer that's been at this forever and can go to court and knows every angle of it. And by the way, knows every judge, knows what their tendencies are. All these kind of things that you're not going to know. Here's
what I would say about that. I think that it would be best for Lamar to have an agent. I do personally think that. I have an agent personally for me, because someone that I pay that looks out for my benefits, right?
No shit.
That being said, here comes the but. That being said, I think that I do not knock a player if they decide to go the route without an agent. And I think the idea that they're dumb, they're not intelligent enough to hang in that room is not accurate. It's a dangerous motto. And I think a lot of times that's what players are trying to challenge. We're in a position of player empowerment and leverage where they can have leverage that is equal to a management. That's what they're trying to grow to. Like you said, that you feel like there's a parent kid relationship between
well, look at the results. Look at the
here's
results, my brother. Look what's going on. He should have had his contract 2 years ago.
Players are trying to change that narrative and make it more even. And so you see guys like Laremy Tunsil, who negotiates a great deal for himself, and without an agent, with the NFLPA rep, and gets a 3-year, $75 million deal that's essentially all guaranteed, resets the market. That's an example of a player who did not use an agent and got the most for himself. And so you see players trying to push themselves to that market. And so there's going to be some ups and downs. Lamar's had a lot of downs, but I do not blame the idea of trying to make it work in your vision of player empowerment.
I do a quarterback contract.
The idea that this guy's a kid or he's not intelligent enough, he may not succeed in getting the most money he wants, but I think he's very strategic and intelligent.
By the way, my criticism is a generality. It doesn't matter. If you want to go to court and represent yourself, you're just as stupid as Lamar is. Okay, I'm just saying that. And by the way, Laremy Tunsil's contract is not nearly as complicated as a quarterback's contract. If you're a quarterback, dude, you need you don't need an agent. You need a badass agent.
Yeah.
Okay, not just an agent. You need to go get Tom Condon. You need to go get somebody that is at the top of their game if you're a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. If you're Magic, if you're Michael, if you're a badass player, okay? If you're LeBron, you need to be handled by somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing to give you an advantage. You know, that's all I'm saying.
I agree that quarterback contracts are more complex and that Lamar, in my opinion, should have an agent. But I think that the narrative, and this happens a lot, what you're saying throughout the media is that Lamar, if for whatever reason is not intelligent enough to be able to comprehend these type of conversations.
None of us are.
I think that he's intelligent enough, but the experience part would help him. But the idea that he's dumb, I think that's a false narrative.
We're all dumb when it comes to this. We didn't go to law school. We don't know all the ins and outs. So yes, he is dumb when it comes to this kind of stuff, and so would I be, and so would you be, by the way. None of us know how to handle all these contracts, all the loopholes, what they could try to take advantage of you. Yes, we are generally dumb when it comes to an attorney, when it comes to a doctor, when it comes to a chiropractor, whatever it is. If I've never done it, hell yeah, I'm going to be dumb at it. But at least I'm smart enough to admit that, dude, I'm too stupid to be an agent or to be a lawyer or to be a doctor. I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so then all of a sudden I can go out there and just negotiate, for the truckers union. No, dude, I can't do that. That's not who I am. And he has to know who he is. He's a quarterback. He's an athlete. She's a mom. None of them are agents. None of them are lawyers. They're trying to get on the horse now and trying to figure it out. To me, they've gotten thrown off the horse several times. Look where they're at. Does this does this look like a successful plan that's being executed now by Lamar and his mom?
Absolutely not. This has been a messy situation, and I think that it could have been handled a lot more.
It's been handled by uneducated people in this profession.
My whole thing, I do not disagree that I would have done this situation differently. I disagree with the narrative that is uneducated, dumb, and those are the words that I think are very dangerous, and I don't agree with that narrative. That being said, I made clear.
So are you going to go do a couple of physicals and checkups now? Are people coming over to your house? Are you a doctor now?
No, but here's what I would say. If I did have to do, there are people who do deliver babies in situations where they have to deliver babies, right? Hold on. Those people aren't doctors, but if I have a doctor on my phone and is telling me how to do it, I'm not going to do it as good as him, but I can still do it. I can hire someone that's a lawyer.
What
I
is
can
this
hire
airplane? You're flying the plane. The guys in the FAA tower telling you how to fly the plane. Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm telling you, the best situation is for Lamar to have an agent. The best situation is for me to have an agent. But in my personal situation, when I signed my first contract with ESPN, I did not hire an agent. In fact, I had a NFL agent who I called and said, "Hey, these are the numbers and things on my deal. Can you take a look at it for me?" He took a look. He made a suggestion or two to me. I went back and negotiated myself and did it well, and I felt like I got the most for myself. He didn't take a dollar from me. I didn't hire
Really?
him.
Now, be honest. Be honest. As the contract went on, was there a thing or two you forgot and overlooked? Be honest.
I had to go back and look at certain things, but I don't think there's something I forgot or overlooked. No.
So there was nothing that you forgot that put you at a disadvantage for any little thing. Really?
No, I don't think so. So, like I said,
that's a miracle.
Maybe at some point.
And by the way, you still had to ask for professional advice.
Yes, correct. But my point is, like Laramie Tunsil, he had someone in his corner, Saint Omni, but he had somebody on his corner that he talked to that wasn't necessarily his agent, but gave him advice. I'm not saying that Lamar should and can handle this all by himself. I'm just saying that if he has a team,
there's no doubt he can.
Right. If he has a team that he trusts more than hiring a certain agent, I don't think that makes him dumb. It may not be my preferred route. It may not be your preferred route. And it may not be the best thing for him. But I don't think that makes him dumb or not intelligent because he wants to go a different route. That's my whole point.
Well, okay. I mean, I get it. But for me, it's just he would be out of this mess already if he wouldn't be in this mess, actually, if he had an agent. That's just, to me, the automatic and all of this. It's a real shame. By the way, you have a feeling right now, if I put you in a corner, which this is an impossible question, what do the Dolphins take in the second round?
I say a tight end. There will be several tight ends there that are available for them, and so I would say that they find a tight end there in the second round.
Yeah, me, it's tight end and then tackle.
Tackle would be great too.
Because there'll be another
tackle.
tight end in the third round.
Yeah, there could definitely be a tackle. You can get a
right. There may not be the right tackle you want in the third round, but the right tackle you may want might be at that 51st pick, and then you say, you know what? There's still a couple of tight ends. We might still be able to get one in the third. But I'm with you. You either get the tight end or a tackle is my second pick, and that's why we haven't seen as much movement.
Yeah. Huh? Or like I said, I know it may shock some people, but I still wouldn't rule out maybe a safety. I know you signed a Deshaun Elliott there, but him or a linebacker, I can see one of those positions too. But yeah, if I was putting money on it, I'd probably say those two positions. You can get a Matthew Burgon from Syracuse come in and be a right tackle there for you. Blake Freeland from BYU probably be there. Jalen Duncan from Maryland. Like these are potential right tackles that you could fit in there. I don't think a lot of people have said, oh, Darnell Wright's going in the first round. He's not going to be there for you. Most likely Darnell Washington, the other tight end from Georgia, is probably not going to be there for you. And so you're looking for either the second wave of tackles or maybe your second or third tight end on your board is probably your choice there at 51.
The league is littered with second round tackles everywhere. Yep. The history of the league is littered with them, so they can get one there. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch his work there at the NFL Network. And on Thursday, wish him a happy birthday. It's birthday boy on Thursday, March 30th.
Absolutely. I will be I'm leaving out tomorrow. My wife is taking me on a birthday trip, so I'm looking forward to it. I turned 30. Getting old, man. Getting old. I can't say I'm 20.
Do you ever turn to your parents and thank them and say, I'm glad you didn't have sex a month earlier?
Right. Yeah.
You'd be celebrating your birthday once every 4 years, dude.
True. A day earlier, right? If I was the February 29th, right? A month and a day earlier. Yeah, because I'm the 30th. So right. February 29th.
You don't want to be right. That's the second to last day of March because there's the 31st. But imagine if you ended up in the last day of February, bro. Come on, that sucks.
A funny brief story. My mom had a choice to have me on April 1st or the 30th, and she said she didn't want to have to deal with having an April Fool's baby, and so she decided the 30th, and that's why I am March 30th.
And she was thinking that she might have to call you fool also. So that's not that either.
Well, she might call me that privately sometime. Either way.
That's my wife's nickname for me every single day. But that's for another day. All right, Cam. Appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up later in the week, birthday boy.
All right. Sounds good. All right, man.
Later. There you go. So Thursday, get on Twitter and wish him a happy birthday. We have unleashed the Wolf Pack.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet Mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Bono's leaving. You got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out. CuttersEdgePro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down. And the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
points, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hour number 2 of the program. Ooh, a little dip in the crypto right now. I had a quick dip here. Bitcoin went down $1,000. So now that has opened it up for some altcoins. All right. By the way, thank you all. Let's go through some of the super chats. First of all, Eric Bedenbaugh. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. He says, the greatest bass player I ever saw was Jaco Pastorius, who was beaten to death by a bouncer in '87. He changed bass forever and is who all bass players study and try to emulate. I've heard of Jaco many, many times over. Never saw him personally live, so don't know, but I have heard the name by other people, Eric. You are not the only one to mention Jaco. So, yes. Can't have a discussion about it because I don't know much about him. But I have heard that he was absolutely phenomenal. Let's see. We got another super chat here. AH360. Thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, a man who is his own lawyer has a fool for a client. That saying exists for a reason. Exactly. Lamar is a terrific young man. Okay. But in this situation, he's been incredibly stupid. That's it. There's no other way to put it. And I get it. Cam can't go as far as I can because I'm a talk show host. He's an insider. He's got to have relationships with, agents and players and all that kind of stuff. And I don't have to worry about that. Okay. I'm going to call things like I see it. And this has been incredibly stupid. This is why I say that I wish Lamar was a jerk because then it'd be really easy for him to root for failure. You know what I'm saying? Like with Aaron Rodgers, I don't care if he fails because he's been a jackass. But Lamar's actually a really good dude. Just because I don't believe in him as a passer, I can compartmentalize it. And I know what he is a good human being. But brother, he has mishandled this and it has been incredibly dumb. Every quarterback in the world needs an agent. It's the most complicated contract you are going to put together. It's the most important contract that you're going to put together on a team. And you've got to protect that player. And he has mishandled it. Now he's asked for a trade. Dude, you're up for a trade. If somebody wants to give you the money in the 2 first-rounders, that's your trade. What do you think all of a sudden the Ravens are going to say, well, we'll take off the thing. We're only going to ask for a second-rounder for you. What do you think is going to happen? The Ravens are going to ask for the same thing that they're asking for the franchise tag. I'm sorry. Lamar looks like a really nice guy. He looks like a great dude. This has been incredibly stupid. Catastrophically stupid. And on top of all of that, he's got a lack of reality of where he stands. And he doesn't seem to understand that the Watson contract had nothing to do with the rest of the league. It's not where the league is going, at least not yet. And that they would be crazy to be doing it with a running quarterback who's constantly injured now the last 2 years. Guys missed 10 games. Hey, the Ravens are fine. Don't they have a Pro Bowl backup quarterback anyways? They'll be fine. They'll get through it all. Not a problem. What can I tell you? We got a dip, baby. Bitcoin, 26,700. Just dipped 1,000. Right now, it went from 27.7 to 26.7. Just like that. Just like that. And Immutable X is in one hell of a buying zone now. That's all I can tell you. So I got you guys do what you want. You do your own homework, but Immutable X right now. Woo, baby. It is in a beautiful buying zone right now. Oh, yeah. All right, what else do we have? By the way, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. And Stephen M., thank you, sir, with a little Bitcoin. Yeah. I love it. Ooh. There we go, Stephen M. Thank you, sir. That's my favorite. You can make a Bitcoin donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Those are my favorite donations. And he says, crypto for the perfect ads to content ratio in sports talk. There you go. Thank you, sir. Stephen M. Very nice of you. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, is it true Immutable X is a Polygon on Web3? Here's what you need to know about Immutable X. Are you ready? They're going to have Disney's metaverse. That's all you need to know, baby. Okay? And Immutable X is teamed up with Polygon. Immutable X is one of my favorite coins out there. I think it's one of the companies that is going to just explode. Okay? Just absolutely explode. The amount of Web3 games that they have on Immutable X is just absolutely sick. They have Unchained. They have Illuvium, Polygons on there with all their games, Guardians. They've got so much shit going on that Immutable X is just, to me, one of the monster crypto companies that is just, going to be a giant in this whole thing. And you can just look at all the stuff that they've got going on. They've got all these kind of games that are monster games. I'm not the gamer, but I follow this stuff and I follow what they're doing, and the partnerships of Immutable X are, again, do your own homework, but it's definitely one of my biggest bags. And now that it's getting for me, once it gets under $1, it's a monster buying zone. And let me tell you something, I got a ton of Immutable X at 44 cents. So I am way in the green, but I know the power of this thing. It's going to explode. So every time it comes under $1 and some of these dips, I'm buying a little bit more now. I'm just going to add a little bit more because every moment it gets, it jumps to $1.50. Like every moment it gets. And we haven't even started the bull run yet. Bull run hasn't even started. Okay? It's crazy. So, yeah. How dare you make us wait over an hour for more commercials? Balderdash, I say. When you're playing a certain way, you can take care of your own money. When you're a back of the roster player, your agent's relationships get you jobs. True. Let's see. NCAA tourney from Giovanni. Cool fact. Seen this last night. 37 people had brackets out of the 20 million correctly selecting the Final Four. I want to know who the heck are those 37 people. Giovanni, those are people that had multiple brackets, and then they went and chose a bracket of wild picks. And they probably did several of those. And those are it. They're just lucky picks. It's like a lottery ticket. It's probably what it is. Big O, I think when Lamar is asking for a trade, he's now done with the Ravens. Yeah, he can be done all he wants, but he doesn't control shit. So So if somebody gives him a contract that he wants and then the Ravens match it, he's not going back to the Ravens? Oh, please, give me a break. So, Jets is going to screw up with going for Lamar, Rodgers staying in Green Bay, and another season with Zach Milson, Finns, number one in the AFC East. Well, Finns are going to be number one in the AFC East no matter what. So that I am not worried about, my friends, whatsoever. Not worried about that at all. The Heat, I'm worried about that. They lose to the Nets 129-100. They're in the 7th spot now. They're in the play-in. I love hearing the players, we don't, this team doesn't want to be in the play-in. Yeah, well, you are. That's who you are, pretty much. And Tyler showed up. Butler, 18 points, did not show up. Passive Bam, 16 points, 7 rebounds, a block. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are outplaying your asses. That's a problem, bro. And they're good players in their own right, but I mean, the Heat getting dogged by the Nets, giving up 129 points. I mean, just disappointing, dude. It's just one disappointment after another after another. They're off till Wednesday when they take on the Raptors on the road. And you know what's great? The entire country gets to see how shitty the Heat are. 7:30 on TNT. Very frustrated with this team, man. Very frustrated. And I got to say, I guess I was right to not believe in the Panthers and wrong to say, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they are on track, but no, they're not on track. As over the weekend, they lose their 3rd in a row. They lose to the Rangers 4-3. Now tonight they got Ottawa, and they're down to the 9th spot. Pittsburgh has the 8th spot. They're 3 points ahead. So we'll see what happens. But the Panthers, man, I thought maybe they were turning the corner. Maybe I thought I was wrong. I was thinking, okay, I don't have a lot of hope for the Heat or the Panthers. But then all of a sudden, the Panthers started winning a couple games and going, well, wait a minute. Now they're healthy and all that. Maybe I didn't give them the benefit of the doubt. And looks like it is what it is. And then the Inter Miami, they win their first 2 home games, looking pretty good, and now they've lost 3 in a row. The 2 road games, and then they came back home and lost to Chicago 3-2. Even though some of those goals, man, the angle on one was a wacky angle, and then the other one that kind of got through one Fire player to the second, and really it was like a second spot that Calendar had to cover, and it was kind of unfair to him. So a couple of those goals were, kind of tough for Calendar. I can't blame it on him. Negri had a nice goal for Inter, but wow, 3 losses in a row now. And remember, they can't dig themselves in a hole too deep here. Let's not make it too hard for Messi to get you out of this hole. So when Messi comes here, come on, let's go. Got to pick it up. But yeah, our winter teams continue to be. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Panthers are turning any kind of corner whatsoever. And Jesus, the Heat. God, that was bad. I was so glad on Saturday, all right, that I went to the concert, because to end up watching Inter Miami lose, to watch the Heat lose, I did get to see the Nova game, so that was cool. And FAU's game, right? I think I got to see FAU's game when I got back. So I was able to do that, but at least I didn't have to sit there and have to also experience the other crap that was going on with with our local teams. God, that was a rough one. But overall, I mean, with UM and FAU making it to the Final Four, Nova winning the championship, the ladies got to the Elite Eight. They were, unfortunately, they were just beaten by a better team. LSU just looked better yesterday. And the stats were weird, man, because it's not like LSU shot lights out, but their defense was better. Low-scoring game, dude. Low-scoring game. 18 turnovers for Miami. They got out-rebounded badly. That was kind of rough to see the ladies go out. Only Jasmine Roberts really showed up. And let me tell you, Haley Cavender did not shoot well in the last 2 games. You know, I know they put out that half court shot and that was cool, but you know, if you really watched her performance, it really wasn't that good, actually, overall. So what can I tell you? Let's see. Lamar has been done with the Ravens since 2021. Lamar has played 13 games exactly each of the past 2 seasons. It's clear as daylight. It's contract related. Break the news when Lamar has surgery. The Sam Bennett injury hurts them. Yes. But you got to be able to overcome something, dude. I mean, you know, they've had their injuries, but the losing 3 in a row, yeah, it was rough. Panthers and Heat it's rough, man. It's rough. All right, not the kind of breaking news I need to read here. Okay. What else do we have here? Let's see. Bobby Wagner, Laramie Tunsil, DeAndre Hopkins, Richard Sherman, Jacoby Brissett, Russell Kuhn all have 50+ million in their career earnings. Yeah, that is very true. That some of them do, but a quarterback, not named Jabroni Brissett, really should be represented by an agent, brother. Okay, that's the best way that gets it going for you. So, you can say whatever you want. It's absolutely stupid to represent yourself. Pay a professional to do what they do. Okay. It's ridiculous for me to represent myself in court. It's ridiculous for me to, be a quarterback in the NFL and not hire an agent. It's just things that you should do. And the cheapness out of it to give away a % or 2 is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It really is. All right, let's talk some depression. Let's talk a little Miami Heat basketball with Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing better than I thought I'd be doing because I woke up, the Heat had the 10th best record in the NBA. They're tied for the number 6 playoff seed. They still have a chance to go for number 5. Even in the midst of all that seems to be going sideways, the sky's still not falling. And you know why, Big O? Because the Nets lose to Orlando. Because the Knicks lose to Orlando. Because we saw Dallas just lose 2 in a row to Charlotte. In the NBA misery index, the Heat have plenty of company. This is a very strange year. There's about 4 or 5 teams that are happy. Everyone else is miserable.
Right, exactly. And there's no light at the end of the tunnel, my brother. Whether they play in a play-in game or they're the number 6 seed, they have no future in the playoffs. Not the way they're playing. They have shown us over and over and over again every single night that they're not dedicated to playing the way they need to play every night. They know they're not talented enough, so they have to be overachievers, and they're not willing to overachieve every single night. And that's a problem. And to me, that in the end kind of you tell me who you are all season long. Look where you're at. You're 40 and 35. This is who you are. You're a middling team, and there isn't really much of a future for you because the way you're playing tells me you cannot hang with the teams at the top of the conference at this point in time. So it's almost like we're trying to move the line every single time, and they keep disappointing us.
The line keeps getting moved for them. I mean, I agree. Coming off that Nets loss on Saturday, I'm like, it can't get much lower than this. And then I'm like, wait a minute, the Nets lost to Orlando and they're tied again. So it keeps opening up. Look, Orlando, if the Heat finish 4-3 and the Nets finish 3-4, the Heat get number 6. I'm going to give you an insane scenario, okay? Right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 2 games behind the Philadelphia 76ers, who are struggling for number 3. If the Heat get to this number 6 and play Cleveland in the first round, They could beat Cleveland. They then would play the winner of
They
Philadelphia.
could easily lose to Cleveland.
Oh,
Also,
I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying I'm trying to give you scenarios that are there. Big O, this is what the Heat need to do. We always talk about how desperate times call for desperate measures. If I was Eric Spoelstra, after today's team meeting, I would say, Kevin Love, we tried. God bless you. Maybe you'll be a Hall of Famer one day. I need to start Caleb Martin again and get that energy back in my starting unit. Gabe Vincent, you're a hell of a story, and good luck in free agency. But Kyle's played enough games back. I need to get him back in my starting lineup. Big O, what I would like to see is this. For these final 7 games, go back to your best starting lineup. Go back to Bam and to Caleb and to Jimmy and to Tyler and to Kyle, and at least see with your preferred 5 where you can wind up. There's no time left.
Didn't you watch the beginning of the year? Didn't you watch the beginning of the year? What made them?
I watched how they got it turned around closer to the All-Star break before that 5-game losing streak coming out of the All-Star break. So I think you just take your shot. I think what you have to do, Big O, is at least give it your best shot. I think that's what they have to do.
You keep reaching. You keep trying. You're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Seriously,
I'm trying to take
this is who they are, Ira. There's nothing else. You have a guy that knows more about basketball than you and I combined in Eric Spoelstra. He's tried every freaking combination. He's been forced to try every freaking combination with all the other injuries too and everything that's gone on. And the results are all the same. You're still mediocre no matter what you do out there because it's a mediocre team. It's what they are.
But again, it's all relative to the standings. They have the 10th best record in the NBA, and they have a chance for a direct line into the playoffs. So, look, you and I, the beauty of our accurate Pembroke Pines reports twice a week on Monday and Friday, we can debate this into May and June, July, see out in Summer League. But at this moment in time, there still is hope. So at this moment in time, I still think you keep the hope alive. Matter of fact, Big O, I would put it this way. I am leaving later today for Toronto. So they're playing Toronto on Tuesday, in New York on Wednesday. We will know a hell of a lot more about this.
You know, you say this every week, right?
Right. But
these games, we're going to know a lot more about it. And we're going to know a lot more about it. And it's the same shit we know about them. They ain't shit.
Okay. And Big O, and what if
middling team?
And what if they win? I'm not saying they're going to, but Toronto's among the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference. And then you have the Knicks. Winning in the Garden is hard. Even if FAU can do it, it's hard. So I'm saying, but if. And you know what the beauty of it is I get
what you're saying is we need John L. Davis on Wednesday.
Or Dusty May's Magic to be left there, whatever.
Thursday we're in New York. Thursday, right. John L. Davis. Okay.
Right. But the beauty of the accurate Pembroke Pines reports is I not only can get assaulted on Monday, but you're going to have free reign on Friday as well, depending on what happens in Toronto and New York. So I say let it play out. Look, is this the season that was envisioned for the Heat? Absolutely not.
Oh.
Are there performances for the Heat that have underachieved? Absolutely yes. But is there still a path, a small path, a path better than when you buy your lottery ticket at the bodega today? Yes, there is. Is there a chance better than some of your playing around with your cryptocurrency? Maybe. So that's what we'll see.
No shot. No shot.
There's still a chance.
No shot.
I think the Heat are still selling for more than a penny. So we'll see.
No shot. The U.S. dollar is crumbling and Bitcoin is strong as hell. So, yeah. No shot, baby. Crypto is the way. Bitcoin is the way. Right here. That's the money play right there. But everybody else will. Now, give me some light at the end of the tunnel. Have you heard anything in the building? Have they said we got to blow this shit up at the end of the year? Because that's really what I want to hear. We got to do everything we can to blow this entire thing up. Because that's exactly what they need to do. They need to start all over again.
I know everyone wants the instant gratification, but this is not a team that is weighing the lottery so that we have to lose all of a sudden and get bad push back there. They're beyond that.
No, I'm talking about just in the offseason.
Yes.
Let's go.
But you don't have to say that or think that or decide that now. You can see how it plays out. Look, Big O, if they're in the play-in, their regular season ends April 9th, home against Orlando. The first play-in game is April 11th. It looks like it'll be Heat hosting Toronto now. If the Heat lose that, they play April 14th against the winner, probably of Chicago, Atlanta. If they lose that, then you say, whoa, we ain't in the playoffs. We got to sweep this aside. But if they are in the playoffs, then you say, let's see what happens in the first round. You let it play out to its conclusion because teams have come from behind in the NBA. Not often. This is not the NCAA. This is not one game FAU. You keep going. You've got to win a quality best-of-7 series. But there's time for that. There's time. You can't trade your impending free agents. You have time before the draft. The Heat do have a draft choice. You have plenty of time for then. You don't need to have that thought entering your building right now, or at least I don't think so.
No. All right. Mavs lose again last night, sir. They lose 110-104 to the Hornets. And Kyrie Irving, again, he's injured. He's dealing with the right foot injury, playing. He had 18 points last night. Doncic had 40. He's not having fun anymore since the trade. Not saying that they both played in every game, but since the Kyrie Irving trade, they are 7-13 and have lost 4 in a row. Why would you bring back Kyrie Irving just to justify the trade if you're Mark Cuban?
No, as a matter of fact, there's a really good story at the Ringer today saying Dallas should tank the rest of the way because if their pick is not top 10, it goes to the New York Knicks going way back to the Porzingis trade. So they have a decision to make. And Big O, that's important for the Heat because the Heat play the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday. So will Dallas come in to play hard or will they tank? Question 2 is, and this was more of an issue when Goran Dragic was here, but there's a lot of people who say, like a lot of players, Luka Doncic likes Miami and they can do right by him. Now, he's under contract through 2025. So that's not happening anytime soon. But Big O, you know how it works in sports. It used to be, unless you had an expiring contract, you had no leverage. Now right. NBA players, Paul George, 2 years before his deal was done with the Pacers, he forced his way out first to Oklahoma City, now to the Clippers. I would keep an eye on Luka Doncic. Number one, the Mavericks have to do everything they can to surround him with talent. Or number 2, they have to decide when they need to cut bait and get something back in return and restock their draft choices. So you sit back and you wonder how that's going to play out with Doncic. Look, for as bad as you might have thought the Heat letting PJ Tucker go or not going to the tax, however you want to phrase it this offseason, there is no worse move in the NBA than the Dallas Mavericks allowing Jalen Brunson to leave for nothing. Because right now, Jalen Brunson is a better NBA player than Kyrie Irving. They blew it. So if you're looking at
the Kyrie Irving trade also made you a lesser of a team, actually, because you gave away pieces that gave you more balance to your team.
Yes,
and more support for Doncic. Actually, to be quite honest, now you've got you. Did you see that box score? Like no one else scored.
They don't have anyone. They have a G League team around them, and they gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, and they let Brunson walk, and they let Dinwiddie go. You know what? Sometimes you sell your soul, and you better be careful who you're selling your soul for.
Right. And that's my point. So it's just one of those deals where you're not God. And let me, if you, Doncic, you think, because he's not a Heat player. He's not. He doesn't take care. I know. I get he's a freakish talent. I get the skill set is sick. But Jesus Christ, we're talking about Brian Big Country Reeves Jr. here.
No,
he doesn't. He looks like
we're
me.
Talking about an MVP level player.
I get it. I get it. This will not age well. This will not age well.
And you will design a defense. I think he's a remarkable talent. Look, Big O, until this struggle, he was mentioned as guaranteed top 5 on MVP ballots. Now the record's going to change that. You know what?
He can't keep eating. He's going to eat his way out of his career, dude.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. Sorry.
Do you watch him?
I do watch him.
Slow. He's so skilled. He can play the slow man game like Adrian Dentley. I get it, dude. I totally understand that.
I think he's defensively indifferent, and it looks that way. And I think with the right coaching and the right motivation, it could change. Look, if you're asking me, do I want him on my team? Hell yeah, I want him on my team.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's funny because he is not really a Heat player the way he takes care of his body. You know, it's just funny.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, of course, because it worked with Kyle Lowry. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah,
I don't think Luka Doncic just turned 37. I might be wrong.
Lately, this is the kind of shit that's been going on, and this is why the wheels have fallen off. because you settle for a
I'll risk my wheels for Luka Doncic. Sorry.
You settle for Whiteside, and he's a bum ass, and you give him all that money. You sign Dion Waiters knowing he needs foot surgery. Okay. Lowry was old and overweight, and it's been, a mess. And I love Doncic, the player, but he has a characteristic that is certainly not Heat quality because he doesn't take care of his body, which if this continues in this way, it's going to cause injuries for him down the line. It's only the inevitable, dude, because that's just the way it is if you don't take care of your body. It's just weird that if you start looking at the last 10 years of the Heat, they have done a lot of things that they normally never used to do. And that's all I'm saying.
I'm going to look at the last 10 years of the Heat and say 3 of the last 4 years in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that's
and I'm going to say that you have a chef that is the best chef in the NBA, and that's why you're that good. He makes you look better than what you really are. That's why you get 31-10 with the bums, and you bring them back, and you got fooled. You get to the Eastern Conference last year, you got fooled. It's the same thing. It's because you have a great coach that gets more out of what they really are, and the front office keeps giving him not enough and making him have to be a master chef just to get the most out of it. Why? Because you're giving him Kyle Lowry and not Chris Bosh. You're giving him Kyle Lowry and not Anthony Mason. You got to give him a player, and that's the problem. You only gave him one in Jimmy. You've developed kind of another one in Bam. He hasn't gone all the way yet, but these are the things where they have fallen short. All I'm saying is if you look at what's gone on the last 10 years, there's a lot of things that Riley has done that he normally would never do. That's all I'm saying. And the results are a little bit misleading because you have one of the badass coaches in the history of the NBA that just knows how to get the max out of almost anybody, dude.
Well, at Jimmy and what he's done the last 3-4 years. You got to put that in there also. One of the game's ultimate closers.
But you need more. But the day they traded for him, I said you need to go get another guy better than him. And they have failed to do that. And that's the reason why you won't win a championship, because Jimmy cannot be your best player. He has to be the number 2 guy, because in today's NBA, you need a guy that can make things happen easily in scoring. And Jimmy has to work his ass off to score because he's a blue-collar guy. He can't pull up for a 34-footer. Just like that. He can't do what Pac did the other night and shooting 7 of 10 from 3-point range. That's not what he does. But in today's NBA, part of your greatness has to be your scoring ability. It has to be something that can be game-changing quickly, and that's just not Butler's game. It's not his fault. God bless him. He has made himself. He has overachieved in his career. You know what I mean? And he is awesome in his own right, but you need somebody next to him, and they just haven't been able to ever find that guy, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Sucks.
It's just I don't disagree on that, but I don't think they're as far as you or some others might think also. And you know what?
I just think Eric Spoelstra fools us. I really do.
I just want, you know what? I want to see it play in a playoff. I might be in wholly agreement with you, Big O, in 14 days or 21 days or 28. But I'm going to wait to get to those 14, 21, or 28. And then we'll sit here, we'll sell some Acuras, and I'll come around.
Can't wait to get my electric one next year. God. Anyway, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, I talked to Kevin Love, and he said, look, I know Cleveland's got a playoff seed. We don't, but I came here to play. I'm almost wondering if that's reaching an expiration, if Spoelstra has to say, hey, I've got to get my best guys on the court right now. So spoke to him, posted the Sun Sentinel, wrote my Ask Ira today about how the Heat are not alone in the misery index. A lot of teams are losing to a lot of bad teams. It's how the NBA is set up this season. And later, Bam Adebayo saying, hey, we've got to get going. We've got to hit the gas pedal now. I'm going to post that a little later. So you got a lot to read today, tomorrow in your paper, and I'll be back tomorrow, day earlier, because of my travel, 9 a.m. Canadian time. And I'll catch you, Kurt Heelan, on the redrecover.com Inside the Paint Show, 9 a.m., 1 week only on Tuesday this week.
There you go. Ira Winderman. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., we've got the Red Recover Inside the Paint Show. Ira, thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow, my friend. Appreciate it.
Drink from a glass half full, my friend. It's not that hard. Thank you, Big O.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. I'd love to be, well, I am when it comes to Eric Spoelstra. I'm not when it comes to Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison. Sorry. I just, I got to look at it the way I see it, man. I just think Eric Spoelstra is a freaking badass, and he fools us, and he gets the max out of it, and then we think we're better than what we really are. No, it's just that dude there that's coaching them. It's like Larranaga. Would the UM program be as good with another coach? Hell freaking no, bro. But Jim Larranaga is an ultimate difference maker, and to me, Eric Spoelstra is an ultimate difference maker. He just is. And unfortunately, the front office and the ownership group, they have fallen down a notch or two. Okay, I'm not saying to get rid of them. I'm not saying Riley to step down. I'm not saying that the Harrison family should sell. None of that. All I'm saying is, gents, you're not as good lately. And that can be said. Nobody's above only Nico Toscani is above the law. Okay? Pat Riley is not above the law. No coach is above the law. No general manager is above the law. No team president. No owners above the law. Only Nico Toscani is above the law. That's it. I'm sorry. The only guy that's holding up his end of the deal out of the trifecta is Eric freaking Spoelstra. He's the only one that is truly doing his job at an incredibly high level. The other two guys have got to pick it up. Okay? And they've got to stop settling, and they've got to stop letting desperation set in, because that's what's happened to Riley. He's using father time, and desperation are forcing him to make really bad decisions. Anybody that gives Dion Waiters a 4-year contract knowing he needs foot surgery is out of his mind. I love you, Pat, but I don't know what the hell made you give that guy a contract. That guy was never reliable. And you're going to give him a 4-year contract knowing he needs ankle surgery? No, dude. No. You sign a 1-year deal, chump. Here it is, minor deal. And when you come back from your ankle surgery and you prove you can play, then I'll give you the money. You gave him the money for 29 games that he played, him and Dragon, out of your mind. Hassan Whiteside, out of your mind to give that guy $100 million. Kyle Lowry, out of your mind to give that guy 85, 90 million, whatever it was for 3 years. And none of this is hindsight. All of this I said before it ever happened. I was never on any of those deals. There's been too much shit that's gone on. Danny Granger and Bob and drafting. You're drafting a player to make LeBron happy? What the? Who is that, bro? That's not Pat Riley. That's just not Pat Riley. I'm going to draft Shabazz Napier to make you happy? No, bro, you draft whoever the hell you think you're supposed to draft. Not what LeBron wants, and he still screwed you over. There's a lot of shit that's gone on the last 10 years since the Big Three. And they're not as sharp in the front office and in ownership. Those are the facts, dude. The problem is you blindly lean on, Eastern Conference trip to the finals, in the bubble, this, that. That's Eric Spoelstra. Getting the max out of teams. But that's not because the teams were great. When they're great, they're like the Big Three. They can come back and come back and come back. When you're not that great, you get to a certain point and then you come back down again. And that's what's happened. I love the Heat organization. They are the best organization by miles in this town. It's not even close. The Harrison family is tops, number one by miles. Pat Riley is God, number one by miles. But we have to be honest. They have not brought their A game for several years now. And they need to look in the mirror. And they need to go back to the Heat ways. Because the Heat ways are the ways that get you to the championship. When you decided to part ways with Mike Miller, yeah, you pissed off LeBron, but it was the right move at that time. Do what you think is right for the team, period. Everything else will work out. But if you start to give in to the players, and I get it that they're getting more power and all, I'm sorry. It doesn't help you. How's it helping for Mark Cuban? Oh, let me go get Kyrie Irving. Let me go get the name. No, dude, it's not about the name. Get the right character. Get the right temperament. Get the right attitude. Get the right professional. They have dropped the ball on many things, and I've pointed them out over and over again. You know, and I love Ira, but he keeps moving the goalpost every single, we'll find out this week, and we'll find out this week, and we'll find out this week, and no, we've already found out who the hell these guys are. And they're a middling team. They're nothing special. They prove it to us every single night. That's your Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Fresh says, no man can run like a girl like Nico Toscani. He does. He does have that funny run. When he used to run. Now Fat Seagal, over the last, 15 years, he hasn't made a good movie in forever. Like Above the Law and, some of those other ones back in the day, they were pretty good. They were fun. Those were entertaining movies. But if you watch the stuff now, the last 15, 18 years that he looks like me, except much taller, they don't even show him fighting anymore because he's so fat he can't fight anymore, So Fat Seagal is not fun anymore. They're like C-level movies now that you run into them there. They're unwatchable. But I will admit, I love his first 5, 6, 7, 8 movies. I can watch those. I do enjoy those. Those are good. Anybody seen Bobby Lupo? Yeah. Yep. What else do we have going on? By the way, EJD Construction, proud sponsor of our program. We love talking about Eric and the great people at EJD Construction. If you're looking for construction in Dade or Broward County, I'm talking about custom home construction, major home remodeling, not a handyman. You need to upgrade your roof because insurance companies in Florida now, you're going to go to renew your policy and say, well, your house is over 20 years old. You need to update and upgrade your roof. And guess what? They do it at EJD Construction. That way, you can get your policy back on track. 305-433-4843. Save it on that cell phone, 305-433-4843. I don't care what you need to do. A second floor to your home, an extra room, you name it, whatever you come up with, they can do it. Custom home construction, folks. Okay? That's what it's all about. In fact, we have a listener in Broward, I believe, that is going to have Eric go to their home and build a brand new Florida room on the back end of the house. So that's actually really cool. That's another thing that you can do if you want to build an extension to your home and have that Florida room there where you can hang out, have the fans and all that kind of stuff. There's another thing that you can do at EJD Construction, folks. I told you about one of our listeners doing the observation deck. Another one that's remediating their home from a fire and all of that, gutting it all out. I'm telling you, EJD Construction does it all, and they're fully insured. Liability and workers' comp. So everybody working there, anybody that gets injured in your property, you will not get sued because they're fully insured. If you don't hire EJD Construction, you want to hire somebody else, that's fine. That's your right. But here's the one thing. Here's my only suggestion. Whoever you hire, please make sure they're fully insured like EJD Construction. Because if not, you could be held liable if anybody gets injured. That's not a mess you need. All right? 305-433-4843. Dade and Broward counties. Call ejdconstruction.com. Go check it out on the Instagram page. You can see a lot of their work. You'll love it. What else? That's pretty funny. Oh, Nico Toscani. Hey, bro, we weave it in and out. Steven Seagal beat the brakes of everything that got in his face, but carbohydrates. You're right about that. He struggles like I do with that stuff. The Heat can be 15-63, and Ira will bust out a Jim Carrey Dumber Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance? He's been doing it every week. It's like, come on, bro, give in. I get it. You got to walk into the locker room. I get it. He's got a black belt in eating. Yes, I've got like a 7th degree black belt in eating. This season, the Heat is like the seasonal dad that lets you down every summer when he says he's going to take you to Disney and never shows up. Disappointing every time. Yeah, kind of. That's good. Out for justice, above the law, exit wounds. I love exit wounds with DMX. That's a good one, man. I love exit wounds. That's a good one. I enjoyed that one. Hard to Kill. Yeah, with the babe. What's her name? Kelly LeBrock. Yes. Anybody seen Richie? What'd he do, Bobby Lupo? I'm going to come back again and ask to see if you've seen Richie. I love Under Siege. Yeah, I'll even watch Under Siege 2, bro. Okay? Now, the original Under Siege, props, she's got a great pair. I got to say, great pair. That's specialty coming out of that cake. Got to give her props. That is solid right there. Outside of, did you watch Hollywood Nights yet, Sean? No. Another movie that may have one of the greatest pairs ever on television. Hollywood Nights. The pool scene. That's all I got to say. All I got to say, nothing else. End of story. Let's see. Big O, my brother, I'm trying to catch your cryptocurrency show on Saturdays, but for some reason, I have not done it the last couple weeks. It's on me. It's not on you. It's on me. I'm going to do something this week. I promise you. Probably Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to do a show. Okay? So that's all me, not you. It has nothing to do with it. I'm bad. What else? Mark for Death. I love Mark for Death. What's that? Two-Face, man. Two-Face. He got 4 eyes and 2 heads. That's his power, Two-Face. Yes. Can you loosen your black belt before gorging on a meal? Oh, according to SNL cast members, Seagal was a horrific guest and tried to beat up David Spade, who weighs 60 pounds wet, all because Spade called him a slap fight black belt. He says, okay, perfect. Can't wait for Big O's newbie here. So I got a lot of questions. Okay. I will do a show this week. I promise you. I'll get the show back on track. By the way, have we responded here at noon? Has the market responded, or has it gone down even more? Who knows? Oh, it's gone up a little bit now. 26.9. Okay. Just a tad. Pretty impressive. What else do we have? All right, what else do we have going on? All right, so we talked a little bit about UM and FAU. Congratulations. Oh, you know what I got to do? Let me do something first before I do anything else. Let's take a short break here. Let's get ready for hour number 3 because we are at the top of the hour here. So we'll go to hour number 3. Give us 2 minutes. Although that one guy will freak out. 2-minute commercials in 1 hour? You mean I did 58, 60 minutes straight of talk, and now we're going to 2 minutes of commercials? Oh, my God. Back with hour number 3.
Oh,
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Sloman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, we are back. Hour number 3 here. Gordon says, oh, you're killing us. 120 seconds of commercial. What are you going to do? You guys are awesome. Appreciate it. At least we can have fun with it along with the jerks, right? By the way, I am now convinced, Sean, more than ever, I am now convinced that Tua Tagovailoa is going to have a great season. Like, guaranteed, Sean, he's going to have a great season. Do you know why I know he's going to have a great season? You have any idea, Sean, why am I convinced that Tua will play in all 17 games, including all the playoff games, and have a great season? Do you know why? Do you have any idea? Well, because I watched John Wick 4 this weekend. That's right. John Wick 4 opened up my eyes. And it's going to open up yours. Did you know this fun fact there, Sean? Did you know that he is a black belt in judo? Keanu Reeves is a black belt in judo. Did you know that? So who is taking a form of judo this offseason? Some guy named Tua, right? Have you seen John Wick? Tell me he doesn't know how to fall. He knows how to fall off buildings. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you remember in 3, what's his name? Wilson, Watson, what's Wentworth? What's the guy's name that owns the or runs the Continental? Remember he shot Winston. Winston shot him. And he fell over the roof, and he knows how to fall. And I watched John Wick 4, and he falls all over, and he knows how to fall. I'm thinking, this is the key for Tua. He's learning just like Keanu Reeves. He knew he had to play John Wick, so he has to learn how to. It's over. Tua wins the Super Bowl, wins the MVP. Why? He knows how to fall now. So how about that? When you see John Wick 4, you too will be convinced also that Tua is going to have a great season. By the way, just a little nugget for you all out there. I went all out on Saturday. Went Saturday morning at 11. Yeah, it was 11 a.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. it started, like 11:30 after the previews. We watched it in 4DX. Okay? I got to say, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. It's not like, oh my God, considering the money, I'm not sure you're really getting your money's worth, to be quite honest. Okay? That's all I got to say. I enjoyed it. The seat moves, you feel the air and then the water and all that kind of stuff, if any of it happens. So you kind of get that experience. The car's moving, you're moving. John falls, you're kind of like shaking. He hits something, you move, all that kind of stuff. So it adds an element to it, but I don't know if it's really worth the money overall, to be quite honest with you. Just to kind of give you a heads up, maybe you just want to go for the regular 4K or whatever it's called. You don't need to pay a little extra for the moving seats. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Okay, that's all. Thought I'd throw it out there for you guys. That I don't know if it's really worth the money extra, but the movie was fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. I enjoyed the hell out of the movie. Action-packed from beginning to end. Awesome. Won't say anything more. If you enjoy all the other John Wick movies, I think this one's better than 3. For sure. I enjoyed it more than 3. Okay? It's pretty epic. Pretty cool. And if you've been to Paris, you'll even enjoy it more. Because I took my wife a couple of years ago, and so it was actually cool. She enjoyed it too, because while she's watching it, it's reminding her of our 25th wedding anniversary when we went. Yes, Jamesville, John Wick 4 is really good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Tua going to have a tree trunk for a neck. You damn right. Lamar's not just stupid. He's the classical definition of ignorant. He's not aware of what he does not know, and neither are his people. A person who represents himself in court has a fool for a client. Yes, sir. You are correct. If Tua's John Wick, Dolphins go undefeated and 3 straight Super Bowl. He is, I'm telling you. It's happening, man of 1,005 holes. Oh, who's on your Mount Rushmore of greatest rockers, band or individual, Troy Ortiz? Oh, God, that's so subjective, bro. You know what I mean? That is so hard, and what are we, and you're just saying rockers, right? So Led Zeppelin's definitely in there for sure. But what does rockers mean? What kind of level of rock are we talking about? Classic rock and heavy metal and stuff like that? Or are we going pop rock, Poison and, things like that, Bon Jovi, and, we go a little lighter on the rock end, or, you know what I'm saying? Like what is the U2? That's rock. It's a different kind of rock. But where am I going? Like for me, U2 is one of the greatest bands of all time, period. But I don't know if you would call them rockers. So are we going, Black Sabbath, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Boston type of rockers? Or are we adding, how expansive are we going on this? That's really, And as for individuals, that's a little easier. Freddie Mercury, I can give you right away. Jimi Hendrix, I can give you right away. I'll go with Les Claypool. God, this one's so hard because there's so many people I can argue with it. But I'll go Neil Peart if you want. Okay? To give you like individual, and then give me Rick Wakeman on keyboards. Yeah. Okay? Something like that. So I give you one of each position, each instrument. Shawn Michaels, definitely my favorite rocker. LOL. I'm glad to hear 4 is better than 3 because 3 was a bit of a letdown. I'm dying to see 4 though. By the way, I agree that 3 was a little bit of a letdown. That it was all right. It wasn't great. I enjoyed this one more than 3. Definitely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Sean.
Just so you know, the night thing was a wrestling reference. I don't know if you know. Shawn Michaels, part of a group called the Midnight Rockers.
Okay. All right. So he's like my boy Jericho, who's got Fozzy.
Well, no. The tag team was called the Midnight. Well, it was the Rockers.
Oh, it's not like a real band.
It's not a real band. No. Although he did sing his intro, "Sexy Boy."
Okay. All right. Because Jericho is actually a singer. He's actually a rocker. He actually has a band. He actually has real albums out. So, okay. It's a little different. I got you. All right. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen, you can put him there too. I put Jimmy as the god. So that's why Eddie is like, a hair behind. But I've always got to put Jimmy as the ultimate god because he did it before everybody else, dude. The shit he was doing, he was so ahead of his time that it's just ridiculous what a genius Jimi Hendrix was. Okay? That's to me how just absolutely just crazy what Jimi Hendrix was doing on electric guitar before anybody could even imagine it. And what the foundation he set for everybody else, God, I think Jimmy is just, I don't know. It's like he was all worldly or something. He was like, if there was something connecting him from another world or something, because how you come up with that music at that time and how you play your instrument in that style and how he reversed the guitar and everything. I mean, just the things he did. I just could never give anybody the God props more than Jimi Hendrix, ever. Where his mind was, it's like Einstein, it's like all these other great, inventors or really smart people that they're way ahead of us. Satoshi with Bitcoin. Bitcoin came from the last economical crisis back in 2008. That's where this was born. It was born from that. That's why, well, you saw what was going on with money and the dollar and the Federal Reserve and all that. And this is why Bitcoin, because he was thinking ahead of time and he was seeing it ahead of everybody else. His vision was amazing. And to me, that's what was special about Jimi Hendrix. His vision on that guitar was like nobody else at that time. It wasn't even close. And to this day, you will have people who will be in awe of what he did. And I'm talking about guitarists will be in awe of what he did in those days. So that, to me, he foundationally is the greatest guitarist ever, because what he brought to the electric guitar, he took it to a completely other level. Just sick. So that's why, for me, while I love Eddie Van Halen, I mean, he's, right up there, I always have to give Jimmy that edge, because, man, when you're that ahead of everybody else, that's saying something, man. When you can see things that no one else can see, that's pretty impressive. I'm a sucker. I love Slash and Axl, my favorite rockers. Nothing wrong with that, dude. They're terrific rockers. Slash is a great freaking guitarist, bro. He might be my favorite live guitarist now. Actually, him, and I would probably go with him and Zakk Wylde. Might be my favorite live guitarist now. Now that Eddie is gone, Eddie was my favorite live guitarist. I would have to go with Slash now. Whether it's Guns N' Roses or with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, I go see Slash every chance I get, and I try to get on the side of Slash on the stage just so I can watch him wail for, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever kind of show I'm going to go to. So I don't think anybody should ever say, Slash and Axl Rose and all. Those are great musicians, great artists. Hendrix had a way of sounding like he was playing 3 guitars at once. He's too much. It's too much. Hendrix is beyond genius, dude. Beyond genius. Listening to Poupart and Omar, and Poupart still doesn't think Tua is a top 10 QB because he lacks arm strength. It was nice to see Omar try to sneak on the Tua train. Yeah, no, we can't. Yeah. But remember, we love Omar, but he loves to play both sides. That's the problem. Hendrix was groundbreaking. He was a catalyst for a completely different sound. He changed everything. Yeah. Jimi Hendrix was the rock era Robert Johnson. Perhaps Hendrix made the same deal as Johnson. Robert Johnson, yeah. Another fantastic talent. You are correct, sir. You are correct. All right, so we've got UM men and FAU advancing to the Final Four. We are 1 win away for both being in the finals, which would be the greatest thing to ever happen to us here in South Florida. What an accomplishment for both schools. Very proud of both. What else do we have going on? Nova, congratulations to the Nova Southeastern Sharks winning the Division II championship. That is absolutely amazing. What else? Winery Dogs I saw on Saturday at the Culture Room. Anybody was there? Anybody on the chat room? Anybody listening to the podcast day or night? Were you at the Culture Room in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday? You saw one. If you have not seen the Winery Dogs, for those of you that love a little rock and roll, it's a super group. Okay? Richie Kotzen. We got Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy is one of my favorite drummers on the planet. I think he's freaking phenomenal. And Billy Sheehan is one of the greatest bassists of all time. What a super group. Awesome. By the way, we got good news also. I don't know if I shared it on Friday, but Marcel Louis Jacques will join us next week, as Welton Rayom will be the proud sponsor of the segment for Marcel Louis Jacques. So Marcel will be back into the fold, as we get some of our insiders back and get ready for the rest of the offseason. So we've got that going on. What else do we have? University of Miami, they are a 5.5-point underdog against UConn. UConn is favored by 5.5. Some guy went at me on Twitter like, oh, you're going down. Now you got to play the big boys in UConn. I'm like, bro, they played in the ACC and they won the ACC. And every week, every round, we hear that somebody's going to beat UM. Like every round we hear this crap. But whatever. The over and under is 149.5. Miami is plus 200 on the money line. UConn is minus 240, on the money line. So Vegas is pretty confident that UConn's going to win here. But I'm sure they've been confident that UM is going to lose in all the other games too. San Diego State is favored over FAU by 2. Over and under is 131.5. FAU plus 110 on the money line, and San Diego State minus 130 on the money line. Like that. What else do we have to talk about on the show? You know, when sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All right. Sean, your boy is in the news. Vince McMahon has paid WWE $17.4 million for the costs that the wrestling entertainment company incurred in investigating misconduct allegations against the executive. McMahon, WWE executive chairman and controlling shareholder, returned to the company in January after he retired from the company last year. WWE's board had formed a special committee to look into allegations that he paid millions of dollars in hush money to multiple women to stay quiet about affairs and other misconduct. Under the agreement reached with the company, McMahon on March 23rd paid WWE about $17.4 million, according to an SEC filing by WWE Friday, that was to reimburse the company for the costs that have been incurred and paid by the company and or its subsidiaries through January 31st of 2023 in connection with and or arising from the investigation conducted by a special committee of the company's board of directors, as well as related revisions of the company's financial statements and other related matters, WWE said. McMahon also promised to pay the company back for additional costs incurred by the company and or its subsidiaries after January 31st. The agreement includes a release of the company by Mr. McMahon regarding the investigation and related matters described above. With McMahon's return to WWE, the company has been actively seeking a buyer, and CEO of WWE, McMahon, made payments totaling $19.6 million dating back to 2007 related to the alleged misconduct the company disclosed last summer. In January, McMahon elected himself back on WWE's board and also appointed Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, former WWE co-presidents and directors, to the board. WWE is entering a critical juncture in its history with the upcoming media rights negotiations, coinciding with the increased industry-wide demand for quality content and live events, with more companies seeking to own the intellectual properties on their platform, McMahon said. In announcing his return on January, the only way for WWE to fully capitalize on this opportunity is for me to return as executive chairman and support the management team and the negotiations for our media rights, and to combine that with a review of strategic alternatives. McMahon also added that his return will allow WWE, as well as any transaction counterparties, to engage in these processes, knowing that they will have the support of the controlling shareholder. I mean, the stuff that goes on in this company does not go on in a lot of sports leagues. And I've never seen this where you were investigated normally and found guilty. Normally you're kicked out, but you've got the power that you're able to come back, push everybody aside, and, here's the money just for the expenses, and then I will, handle the sale. so I can really maximize everything. So what's going to happen, Sean? Who's going to buy this thing finally? Or is he full of shit and he's just doing this for show and not going to sell it?
Oh, he wants, what was it, 9 billion, I think was the number that he wants. So, I mean, if somebody's going to pay it, it's probably the Saudis or one of those groups like that just throw money. But I also don't know that he wants to sell the company he built. Although I've always said that the person that will in the WWE is the same person that built the WWE, which was Vince McMahon. But, you know, I don't know where it's going to go. Every day it's something different. Now there's wrinkles that there's some stuff showing that he's probably back involved in the creative side of the day-to-day, which everybody said he wasn't. One of the matches at WrestleMania was one of the matches he wanted, which is Omos against Brock Lesnar. So there's little things going on where it's showing that he's kind of getting back into the day-to-day fold, which is something a lot of the talent necessarily is not happy with either. So there's going to be a little bit of a rift there. But again, Vince is doing it for Vince, and he can give two shits about anybody else.
Oh, man, there's a lot of that going on. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Wow. Bitcoin is amazing. It's back up over 27,200. So it's starting to approach back to where it was, closer to 28,000. Relentless, dude. Relentless. It's really impressive. Really impressive. Congratulations goes out to Larry Little. Yeah, man. Larry Little today had a street named after him. It's on Northwest 11th Terrace. It goes from Northwest 6th Avenue to Northwest 1st Avenue. And it's right by Booker T. Washington, his high school, his alma mater, at 1200 Northwest 6th Avenue in Overtown. So Larry Little is getting a street named after him. And he's such a good man. He's done so many good things in the community. He gives back to Bethune-Cookman every year. We have the pleasure. Sean has had the pleasure with me the last couple of years. I've been doing it now for several years before I was doing it with Bill. That we would cover Larry Little's event, and he's raising money and scholarship funds for kids to go to Bethune-Cookman. I mean, just amazing stuff. And we get to see the kids come back after they graduate, and they talk about how, you know, they've graduated from medicine, they've graduated from law, they've graduated from business, they've graduated, you know, all kind of accounting, you name it, all kinds of stuff. And it's always impressive to hear and see these kids come back and say, you know, I'm studying this, I'm studying that, I'm moving on to this, next, step in my life and all that. It's really impressive. And Larry Little is obviously a great player, part of the undefeated teams, all that kind of stuff. I get all of that part, but Larry Little, the human being, what a good dude, man. And that is a great honor to get a street named after you. That's pretty cool. We got several around town, but I'm glad that Larry Little is getting it. We got Shula and we got Marino. I don't know if we have any other Dolphins outside of Shula, Marino, and Little. Do we have any other Dolphins? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So those are the three Dolphins. Who's that? So Shula, Marino, and now Larry Little. Who's the other Dolphin that you would say that Dolphin deserves a street? Okay. Who would it be? Who's that Dolphin that has to have a street named after him? Who are we leaving out right now that we would say over the years? Say Jason Taylor or Zach Thomas, right? That would be like two guys that I would include in there, right? You know, Zonka, Ryan Tannehill. Oh Lordy, where do we have like a lot? Where do we have a mess? So I-95 is that what we do, or the Palmetto? Is that Ryan Tannehill, the Palmetto right there? Zonka is a good one. Trying to think of what road do we give Zonka? Right? What road fits Zonka Road, Boulevard, Street, Terrace, Circle, Pass, Pathway, whatever the hell avenue, whatever it is. What would Zonka? He loves to fish. So do we make it instead of like going into Key Biscayne? It's Zonka Highway into Key Biscayne. That way you're going into the beaches. You're going to, take your boat and get drop your boat in the water. Because, he's such a fishing guy. So Key Biscayne is renamed Zonka Highway all the way through, or Zonka Road, or Zonka, whatever the hell you would call it. Zonka Freeway. Duper Clayton. The Marx Brothers Highway. Is that what you're saying? I like it. Nat Moore. That's my favorite receiver of all time, actually. I love Nat. Great dude, man. Great dude. It's a good one. Out of nowhere, Brett Dodger goes into a conversation we had last week. Genesis was better with Gabriel IMO. I saw them a few times with him in the lineup and a few times after he left. Brett, it all depends, bro. The music for me with Collins is 1,000 times better. It's psychedelic and I love Peter Gabriel's solo stuff way more than Genesis Peter Gabriel. But that's just me. I don't think Genesis Peter Gabriel is as good as people make it out to be, but that's just me. That's my opinion. Chrome, it just bullies through the wilderness. There you go. That's not bad. Brian Cox Causeway. We can rename Alligator Alley after Manny Fernandez because he loves the Everglades and alligators, right? And he's the one that put the alligator in Shula's shower, right? Wasn't it Manny Fernandez? That's a good one. I like that. The no-name highway for the no-name defense. Ooh. That's pretty good, the no-name highway. I like that. I like it. I like it. I don't like this. Officials responding to a shooting in a school in Nashville, Tennessee, with multiple victims confirmed. Wow. Okay. Prayers there. Hopefully. Oh. Hopefully it's not as bad as they're talking about it. School shootings. Jesus. Can't believe it. All right. Let's see. The problem with hardcore Genesis fans is that they do not see post-Gabriel music as prog rock. If you listen to Genesis post-Gabriel albums, the prog was in there, but it was not radio released. Yeah, but Carlos, I don't give a shit about the prog stuff. If you have that prog thing up your ass and that Genesis wasn't prog enough for you after with Phil Collins, well, guess what? Genesis were monsters. They sold way more albums. Okay? They were way better with Phil Collins. That's just the facts. The music was way better with Phil Collins. That's why more of the world enjoyed that Genesis than Peter Gabriel Genesis. Now, if you have this prog thing, if you have a prog stick up your ass, and it all has to be about prog, and if you get off the prog, oh my God, this, that, it's like Metallica fans. Oh my God, the Black Album, and then after, they're going against us. They're changing their ways. And give me a break, dude. Bands evolve. You know, you gotta grow, and sometimes you gotta expand, and you gotta sound differently. You don't want the same freaking sound all the time. You gotta go in other directions. And that's part of greatness, is being able to do Black Dog and to do what's it called, In the Evening or whatever, right? Or what's that song from In Through the Outdoor? You know, the bum 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 bum. Oh baby, you know, that's completely different than doing Black Dog, you know, but that's kind of the way it goes. You gotta adjust. You two did the same thing, and people were freaking out with the pop album, and I'm like, well, it's different, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. There's a lot of good songs in that album. It's actually an underrated album. But people freak, oh my God, you two. Well, dude, there's a little difference in the change of music in that era. So they wanted to go a little bit more techno sounding with discotheque and all that kind of stuff in that album. So they changed it up a little bit. It's kind of what you do. It's what great bands do. They experiment. They go in different directions. So Genesis went in another direction, and they were way more successful. Were they as prog? No, of course not. But they were better. They sold way more albums. They were filling up stadiums. Genesis could never fill up a stadium with Peter Gabriel. Ever. In fact, they were never going to fill up a stadium with Peter Gabriel. Ever. Genesis with Phil Collins can fill up a stadium in any city 2 to 3 nights if they felt like it. Huge difference, dude. Huge difference. So it's up to, you know, if you got that prog thing stuck with, well, then too bad, bro. But if we are objective and we talk about the music and the impact and everything else, Genesis Phil Collins absolutely annihilates everything Genesis, what's it called, with Peter Gabriel. How many iconic songs are there from Genesis Peter Gabriel that people know all over the world? The common folk know. None. How many Genesis songs do the people know with Phil Collins? I'm talking about the average person, not the prog rocker. A ton. That's the difference. So if it's the prog argument, there's no argument. Everybody is right on the prog one. But if we're talking about quality of music, impact, sales of albums, TV exposure, filling stadiums, success, what got you in the Hall of Fame? Let's go with that one, baby. Let's fucking go with that one. You stay Peter Gabriel Genesis, you don't get to the Hall of Fame. You use Phil Collins, you're in the Hall of Fame. Checkmate. Over. Done. End of story. I really enjoy early Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green. That shit don't compare to Lindsey Buckingham and Steve Nicks. Okay? Once you added Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, you took Fleetwood Mac to another level. And I enjoy Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. I have no problem with that Fleetwood Mac. I really enjoy it. But Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, it's not even close. Not even close. I enjoy Journey pre-Steve Perry. I enjoy it a lot. Really. A hell of a lot more than Peter Gabriel's Genesis. Just like the last album, the last group I talked about, same thing. I enjoy early Journey more than I enjoy early Genesis. But if we're honest, once you added Stephen Perry, you took it to another level. I love Iron Maiden with Paul Di'Anno. Love it. Those first two albums, oh my God, Remember Tomorrow is still one of my favorite albums. But once you added Bruce Dickinson, there's no comparison. You took it to another level. That's just the way I see it. And Phil Collins' Genesis, brother, is a giant. Peter Gabriel's Genesis is a niche. Those are the facts. Peter Gabriel's Genesis is stuck in prog rock. It has nothing to do with the general public's music. It doesn't go. Nobody's jamming Genesis songs, Peter Gabriel, on radio stations. They're still jamming Genesis with Phil Collins, and they'll still jam Genesis with Phil Collins 50 years from now. On pop stations, rock stations, everywhere. You're going to have to find some deep cut somewhere on some satellite radio station for them to actually play Peter Gabriel Genesis. Those are the facts, man. It's like not even close. Big O show needs a Big O music show. That's in the works. But I only have one voice and I'm only one man. Phil Collins is one of 2 or 3 people who has sold over 100 million albums, both as a member of a group and a solo artist. Yeah. Hey, Peter Gabriel. Here's the funny part. Give me Peter Gabriel's solo music. Okay. 100 times over Genesis Peter Gabriel. How about that? Okay. Peter Gabriel's solo music is more in the general public's eye than anything Genesis with Peter Gabriel ever will be. In fact, Genesis Peter Gabriel will never, ever be in the public's eye. Nobody knows about them. They're nothing. They're also rants. They're just for the prog rockers. That's it. But Sledgehammer will be played forever, and Red Rain will be played forever. That's just the way it goes. And games people play, or Games Without Frontiers, my favorite song of his, that'll be played on regular pop stations, rock stations, alternative stations, satellite stations. They'll play Salisbury Hill all over the place. You'll never hear Genesis Peter Gabriel. You only hear it in some prog rocker's car, some prog rocker's home. You're not going to hear it on regular radio, ever. So I think I've kind of expressed like 1,000 times over why Peter Gabriel Genesis does not ever come close, can't hold the jock to Phil Collins Genesis. Only if you're just into prog. That's the only reason. If you're a prog frog, then that's your thing. It's got to be all prog. Yeah. Give me Dream Theater and give me this and give me ELP and give me that. I just want my prog. Give me my Yes. That's it. Not my 90210. No, I don't want that Yes. I don't want the big generator. No, get me back to my prog Yes. If that's you, that you've got to just live in that world, then yeah, forget Phil Collins. That don't mean jack to you. But if we're talking about the music, the impact, the Hall of Fame stature of it, the reason why Genesis is in the Hall of Fame is Phil Collins. If you don't have Phil Collins singing, you don't go to the Hall of Fame. Anybody going to argue with me on that? I don't think so. So, big old different Genesis and their music with and without Gabriel. I enjoy both, but prefer with just my preference. Exactly. You're a prog guy. I get it. But it's not even close. Oh, how did you feel about Avenged Sevenfold? It seems everyone hates them and calls them off-brand Metallica. No, I like Avenged Sevenfold. I think they do a really good job. No. I get this with Greta Van Fleet. And so let me ask you something. So am I not supposed to listen to the Monkees? Why? Because they sound like the Beatles? Because they were influenced by the Beatles? But the Beatles didn't make Hey, Hey, We're the Monkees. The Beatles didn't make Last Train to Clarksville, right? Those are their songs. They didn't write them, somebody else wrote them, but they performed them, and they had to do it. They had to create the songs. It wasn't like they remade a Beatles song. And this has gone on in the history of music. We've had bands that sound alike. We've had singers that sound, David Coverdale in his early days, a lot of people would think he would kind of steal that Robert Plant sound. So am I supposed to not listen to Whitesnake then? And then I hear the same shit with Greta, because their first EP and their first album, not the second album. The second album doesn't sound Zeppelinish, but it has heavy Zeppelin influence in the EP and the first album. But then I hear, they're a ripoff of Zeppelin. No, moron. Ripping off somebody is actually copying their songs and then redoing them. When you make your own music, just because it has an influence from somebody else doesn't mean you're copying it. You still have to write the lyrics. You still have to write the music. So when you go listen to their songs, they sound freaking great. The singer is phenomenal. Jake is a great guitarist. Danny Wagner does an excellent job in the drums. They make their own music. So it kind of sounds a little bit like it has influences of Zeppelin, but I can do this throughout the history of music, dude. I've been listening to music since I was a kid, and I'm a heavy music fan. I can pick bands that have influences from other bands. Does that mean I'm not supposed to listen to them? If they made good music, why wouldn't I listen to them? So Avenged Sevenfold, do they have Metallica influence? Well, of course, Metallica is they are the beginning of the speed and thrash metal stuff. So them and Megadeth and Anthrax and all, they're going to set the table for others. So am I supposed to not like one because it sounds or has influences of another? That doesn't make any sense. Is it great music or not? It's not a remake. We're not talking about, hey, do you like Pretty Woman from Roy Orbison or do you like Pretty Woman from Van Halen? We're not talking about that. So you can't say it's somebody, they're a ripoff of this band. No, you can't rip off if you're making your own music. And you can have a sound like Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin or anybody else, but you still have to make good music. And that's the part that people get lost. So I'm a Believer from the Monkees is a great freaking song. I don't care if they sound Beatle-ish. On their own right, I'm a Believer is a great song. I can hear it all day long. Last Train to Clarksville, by the way, is like one of those songs that I can listen to in a loop. Love that freaking song. So I'm not supposed to like the Monkees because they're influenced by the Beatles. That's just so stupid. That's just ridiculous. These are the things that sometimes it goes on and I'm just like, I don't get it. And it happens. And some of you have that lazy line with Greta, and it's like you're cheating yourself out of watching a great young band do their thing and grow in front of you. Ragin says, yeah, but the Monkees had music with substance, unlike most pop with the style over substance. Last Train is about a guy going to Vietnam. Ragin, remember, the Monkees just sung the music. They didn't write any of their music. Okay? So before you start going, Monkees had music with substance, they didn't write their music. They performed it. Okay? They had like great musicians, right? Like Leon Russell and Glenn Campbell and trying to remember some of the others in that writing group, the Wrecking Crew. There were some legend, like before Glenn Campbell became Glenn Campbell, he was writing music for the Monkees and others. I liken this to a drinking scotch. I started with Black Label, and then my palate became more refined, and I began to expand, and now I will enjoy my Lagavulin and my Glenmorangie. This is space for all. Sorry, I'm not really much of a drinker, so I don't know what the hell those things are. Black Crows and the Faces. There you go. There you go. Slayer, right? That's right. It's another one. Ministry had an early synth band sound because of their record label. Yeah. And now they're like metal. It's like the weirdest thing. Ministry has gone from one extreme to another. Beatles are really good. They're almost as good as the Monkees. Dewey Cox and Walk Hard. That's a good movie, by the way. I forgot what listener. I had a listener bring me the DVD of that movie. Good movie. Good movie. Better than I expected it to be. Way better. Crazy Dave Mustaine had a hand in all four of the Rush. Yeah. Only cavemen created music without influence. Everyone was influenced by somebody at some point. Amen, Carlos. I saw the Monkees without Mike Nesbitt back in the 80s. Nice. Back then in the 80s, Nesbitt was bitter about not doing it. And then after he appreciated and then started joining it because he kind of had the wrong attitude about it. The problem is that Greta has almost no stylistic originality whatsoever. A band should at least add something to their inspiration. Kiska even copies Plant's vocals identically. Actually, he does not. If you listen to the new album, it doesn't sound anything like Led Zeppelin. But bruh, you want to take a lazy take, you can go ahead and do that if you want. But he doesn't copy Plant all the way through. He does other things on his own with his sound. So, that's fine. There's a lot of lazy takes with Greta. If you actually go listen to the music, it's actually exceptional music. Chad says Greta Van Fleet is too good. You're doing yourself a disservice not listening to them. Exactly. Session musicians are sadly underrated. Yeah, but you know what, Brett? Before you become your own musician with your own identity, a lot of times you're a backup singer, like what's it called? Before Glenn Frey and Don Henley became the Eagles, they were just backup players to Linda Ronstadt's band. And then Linda was the one that said, you two should go and make a band on your own. And then they went on to make the Eagles on their own. So a lot of musicians like Glenn Campbell, or Leon Russell, these are people that started as studio musicians. Sometimes they're just backups. Sometimes they're just supporters. And then that's how you build your experience. And then you take off on your own. So being a studio musician for a lot of guys and women, that's kind of part of your growing process. Now, there are studio musicians that are legendary and they stay that way and they love being studio musicians. They don't want to tour. They just want to record, get paid, and they help create music and they're fine that way. And then there are some that like to tour and want to be part of the touring band and create the music. So it really goes at all different levels. But a lot of times studio musicians do become their own. It's just kind of a stepping stone too for some of these guys. Oh, shut the Monkees and substance conversation down. Laughing my ass off. The fact of the matter is everything in music has been done. Just appreciate the art perspective of it. Influence is completely different than ripping somebody off. Exactly, Lenny. You can have an influence, but you're still making your own music. It's not like you're getting this. It's not like you're getting Stairway to Heaven and changing all the lyrics. So you've stolen the whole song, but now you're changing the lyric. No, that's not what you're doing. You're creating your own song. Beyonce was a backup once. Exactly. Everybody, man. Jimmy Page, exactly, was a studio musician. Jimi Hendrix was a studio musician. Speaking of session musicians, Dougie Fresh says the epic two-part bass line Walk on the Wild Side was written on the spot. The bass player got paid twice if he played acoustic and electric. That's nice. Everyone who's come out of Frank Zappa's camp is part of an industry to make money as musicians. You will have to do work for hire studio work. Exactly. You are correct, sir. Here's a question for you. You are the Peacocks of musicians. I nominate the saxophone players. They eat up the moments in the spotlight. LOL. Sax players are absolutely awesome. Cher and Sheryl Crow are famous examples of backup studios to stars. Yeah, man, a ton of them. A ton of them have been that. Go look at there's a David Bowie video, Young Americans. Okay? All right, he's singing Young Americans. I want you to go look at one of their backup singers, Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross is singing backup vocals in Young Americans to David Bowie. Luther freaking Vandross. Okay? It's part of the process, man. Part of the process. Speaking of music, Queen has announced some tour dates. Might as well give you a little music notes since I did search for them. Unfortunately, we do not get a Miami date here. Okay? So for those of you that were hoping to see Queen and Adam Lambert, not going to happen. Baltimore, October 4th, Toronto the 8th, Detroit the 10th, New York, Madison Square Garden, October 12th, Boston the 15th, Philadelphia the 18th, Atlanta the 23rd, Nashville the 25th, St. Paul, Minnesota the 27th, and Chicago, October 30th. November 2nd, Dallas, November 5th, Denver, November 8th, San Francisco, and November 11th, Los Angeles. Those are the dates for the North American tour of Queen and Adam Lambert. And let me tell you something. Nobody will ever be Freddie Mercury. Adam Lambert's the first one to tell you that nobody will ever be Freddie Mercury. He's pretty smart about that, by the way, because he's a great singer in his own right, and he's got a great voice. But he's pretty smart that, Queen fans know the greatest rock singer of all time was Freddie Mercury. Like, they know that. Like, there's no argument. Like, anybody that ever tries to challenge the Freddie Mercury argument, like, you're embarrassing yourself, that kind of stuff. So Lambert knows to never even come close to that perch or ever even try to say anything. He'll tell you in the concert that Freddie Mercury is the baddest ass of all time. All right, because he is a badass, bro. That guy was just amazing. No voice like that, dude. But let me tell you something. If you've never been to a Queen concert and you'll never get to see Freddie unless you go to YouTube, my suggestion to you is go experience Adam Lambert doing it. He does a great job. And he embraces putting on a show, too, at the same time. So he's willing to be flamboyant, like Mercury was. So that also helps, too, in the presentation, the performance of it all. So if you've never had the opportunity to see Queen with Adam Lambert, I would suggest you go. Okay? So there you go. What else do we have? Also in music and in music history today. On this date back in 1986 in Shreveport, Louisiana, Sammy Hagar played his first gig with Van Halen as part of their 112-date North American tour. 112 dates in the U.S. It's a lot of dates, dude. In 81 on this date, AC/DC released their album, Dirty Deeds, Done the Cheap. Dirty Deeds and the Done the Cheap. Ow! In 79, Eric Clapton married George Harrison's ex-wife, Patty Boyd, in Tucson, Arizona. In 84 on this date, Metallica made their live UK debut at a gig in London's Marquee. And in 87 on this date, U2 performed on the roof of a downtown LA store as they made the video Where the Streets Have No Name. It brought traffic to a standstill and attracted thousands of spectators. Police eventually had to shut the shoot down, and there's a video out there for it. If you haven't seen the video, it's there. They show it all. In 65 on this date, listen to this. Jeff Beck replaces Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds. That's just stupid, right? That's just stupid. Eric Clapton's leaving us, but we get Jeff Beck. Like, holy shit. In 2007, rest in peace, Jeff Beck. We just lost you, man. In 2007, Scott Weiland's wife was arrested on suspicion of burning over $10,000 worth of the belongings outside of their Southern California home. When police arrived, they found a bin of smothering clothes. Earlier in the day, the couple left 2 rooms at a luxury hotel vandalized following an argument. Love. Exciting and new. Come aboard. It's expecting you. Yes, it is. And Depeche Mode, by the way, played their first U.S. concert in 5 years. For those of you that are getting tickets for the Depeche Mode concert, coming here to South Florida, if you want to go to see Depeche Mode, they do 22 songs. And 23, I'm sorry. And I went over them, only 8 classics out of the 23. So just in case, if you are going, walking in my shoes, in your room, everything counts. I feel you. Enjoy the silence. Just can't get enough. Never let me down again. And Personal Jesus. Those are your 8 classics. The rest are from newer albums and, not as good. Because, hey, listen, I love Depeche Mode, but you're not going to tell me that their latest albums have been anything like what they used to put out. Members of Toto are another example of studio musicians. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well, I mean, what's it called? The lead guy. I think I have his book over there. I'm forgetting his name now. I'm brain farting. The lead guy has written songs for a whole bunch of other bands too. I'm forgetting his name now. The guy with the black hair, and I'm brain farting right now. But God, I don't know how I'm forgetting his name. But anyway, he's actually other bands have used him forever. Like, it's crazy. He's a genius when it comes to writing music. What else do we have here? I've been a fan of them for a while. Okay. I did see Adam with Queen. Like to see Mark Martel, the one who sounds like. Oh yeah, I want to see that one too. I want to see that one badly. Yeah. Deshaun Elliott, not a very smart move by him. What did I miss? What happened with Deshaun Elliott? Sean, can you look it up? Tell me, is there some news with Deshaun Elliott? Did he get in trouble or something? Pat in Nashville, I saw Ghost again. It's all right, but it's not Can't Get Enough. It's not Master and Servant. It's not Pimp. It's not Little 15. It's just, it's not I Feel You. It's not, man. It's not. It's a nice song, but it's no, I can't put it in the same stratosphere, unfortunately. Oh, Elliott tweeted for Lamar to come to Miami. Did he really do that? Seriously. Bring up this tweet. Did Deshaun Elliott really tweet that?
He retweeted Lamar's letter to my fans.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nothing.
And then he said, LMAOOI, it's just Twitter. Calm down. Because I guess everybody went after him for retweeting it.
Oh, let's see. What's his Twitter handle? Oh, pull it up if you can too. But what's his Twitter handle?
At official SHON_4.
At official _4. What?
Just type in Deshaun Elliott, DESHON Elliott. It's
I did.
official Sean _4.
Oh, okay. Official Sean _4. Oh. Okay, I'm having trouble here with this shit. Okay, I see. I seem to not be able to find it. All right. So he retweeted. Did you pull it up there or something? Okay. So he retweets Lamar. That's not a bad thing. If he didn't say Lamar, come here. Why is it some of you who said Lamar, come here? Who said Lamar, come here? I love people with bad information. Who's the one that said Lamar, come here? That guy better erase it before I find it. You're lucky I'm not finding it, bro. I would have blocked your sorry ass. What do we got? What do we got? That's it right there.
So I don't know what. I guess they're referring to the retweeting of Lamar Jackson. That's only
Okay, so that's it. Retweeting Lamar Jackson is not saying come here. That's just supporting a former NFL player. That's all. That's not a big deal. I mean, a current player. You know. Oh, now Mark says he tweeted, "Come to Miami." I saw it. He deleted it. Wait a minute now. We got to have screenshots of it. There's got to be a screenshot of it. I want to know that now. I got to know now. I got to see if there's a Deshaun Elliott tweet now. By the way, how does he spell Deshaun? Do you know? Because maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm spelling it wrong or something. Maybe that's why I'm not finding it. But somebody should have taken that. Someone should have taken that. What's it called? That screenshot. Interesting. Somebody's got to send me that. I got to see that. What do you have there? Oh, okay. It's just so small for me. Aha, so that's how he spells it. Okay. Okay, I got it now. Lost and found, it says on his Twitter handle. He's pretty yeah. Yeah, I see where he retweeted that. Well, you guys got to show me. You guys got to show me that tweet. I need to see that tweet. Somebody had to have taken a screenshot of it. Okay. Oh, this is it right here. Deshaun Elliott, hashtag come to the Dolphins. Wow. That's sad. I'd cut his ass. That's what I would do with Deshaun Elliott. I'd bring him into the office and say, let me ask you something, bro. You just signed a 1-year deal here. You know, who are you? What have you done? You know, we got this whole mess here. We got to deal with stuff with the quarterback. We have our quarterback in place, and you're asking publicly for Lamar Jackson to come to Miami? Like, who the fuck are you, dude? I mean, you're not Xavier Howard, buddy. You're Deshaun Elliott. Right? Last time I checked, you're not Teron Armstead. You're Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott needs to understand he's Deshaun Elliott. He's not Javon Holland. He's not even Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen just got here, and he has no business saying anything. But Jalen Ramsey's accomplished something. Deshaun Elliott, brother, you're a 1-year contract guy. This is not a very bright individual if he's doing something like that at this moment. That's the kind of dude that you need to have a conversation with. Not very smart. No, I got it now. They sent me the picture of it. Wow. Whew. I would have blocked your ass without it. If I would have known who did it at that moment. Thank God I didn't do it. Wow. How stupid can you be? Seriously? Wow. Whew. I tweeted it out myself now, by the way. I tweeted it out there. So it's on my Twitter page if you want. And I directed it to him too. I said, so official Sean Ford just gets here and this is what he does. Yeah, not very smart. Not very smart. That's just, creating controversy for no reason at all. You have no place to create. You're a nobody on this team. You just signed here. Seriously? Wow. Yeah. Not good. Not good. Wow. Yeah, it's a dumb move. I don't know about immature, actually, Eddie. I'm just going to go with dumb. That's all. I'm not even going to give him the immature part. He's a grown man. He should know better. Like, who are you, bro? Like, who are you? Who the hell are you to suggest any player to come here? Like, I get a franchise player saying what? Not even a real franchise player is going to do that. But I can see a franchise player saying about another position of need. Okay, yeah, come on over. Deshaun Elliott? Like, seriously? This is what you're doing? Wow. That's pathetic. Man. A backup safety starting drama the front office went out of their way to avoid. It's and plus he doesn't even know quarterbacks. That's the worst part about it. The guy wants a guy that can't pass over here. That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow. Deshaun Elliott. Dude. Get a freaking brain, man. That's just ridiculous. All right. What else do we have going on? I think I've covered it all. We talked a little Nova. Heat, unfortunately, are breaking our hearts. UM and FAU. Talk Larry. Ooh. I did leave something out, Dolphin fans. I did leave something out. Outside of Deshaun Elliott, of course, who now is, on my hit list. Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa. Okay? Might as well talk about Tua Tagovailoa since Deshaun Elliott, opened up the door. And McDaniel and Tom Pelissero caught up with Mike McDaniel at the owners' meetings. And listen, this is one of the things that I think I'm kind of learning about Tua Tagovailoa is that he is a motivated individual. And he is motivated to prove people wrong. And whether it's proving that he can play to people or whatever it is, right? His arm is not strong enough. He can't run a high-powered offense, all that crap that people have talked about. He's not coming back from that hip injury, everything, right? And so now it's the whole thing with the concussions this year, unfortunately, that he had an issue with, right? And I've told you this before, that I think Tua is that maniacal dude that is going to be so focused on what he has to do to get better and be a better player and be a better person, be a better father. That's who that dude is. He's kind of wired that way, okay? And I am convinced that he's going to come out and really take care of his body. I'm convinced that he understands where he's at and what he has to do. And I'm sure he's had conversations with his wife, his family, and his agent, and obviously with Nick, his trainer, everybody else. And there's a plan in place. And I think he's going to attack that plan and be a stud this year. I really do. I joke around, had some fun with you later, in the show when I was, using the John Wick stuff and all that, because you got to have some fun with this too at the same time. So McDaniel was asked about Tua, and Pelissero asked him, and he says he's doing great. He's had a really good offseason with his family and training and positioning himself to feel good moving forward. He's very healthy, vibrant, and I can see a hunger in him that I'm excited to watch play out. And that's because Tua's that dude that has tunnel vision. And I think that McDaniel, that last line, McDaniel doesn't really give you a lot, but sometimes he'll drop a nugget that you have to kind of see through the trees. And I think that was that nugget right there that he dropped. Because I think he sees it too. I think Nick Hicks is probably watching it every day. Just like when you watched him, improve his body last year in the offseason, right, with Nick. And you can tell that he was working on the core of his body so he can be stronger and make the throws that he has to make. And then this offseason now, it's going to be, if you go back and listen to the interview with Nick Hicks, it's going to be about not just strengthening his neck, but also they're going to work on short area explosive movements so he can get away from people too at the same time, because there are ways to become a little quicker and those kind of things. So they're going to work on those kind of things too at the same time. So knowing Tua, okay, from what I've seen so far, I am convinced he's going to have a great season. I am convinced that he's going to come out to really show people that he can play a real intelligent brand of football, because he's a smart guy when it comes to reading and deciphering defenses, but he hasn't used his intelligence when it comes to protecting his body. And then that's the next level. And what he has to understand, and I hope Mike McDaniel does this, I hope he shows him quarterbacks of all generations, all around, protecting themselves, making plays, getting rid of the football, making sure you don't take unnecessary hits, all of those kind of things. He's just got to work that into his game. And I think he will, because if there's something that he wants to do, it's succeed. And the young man just, he kills himself to be as perfect as he possibly can be. Just saying. I think McDaniel gave you dropped you a little bit of a nugget there, and kind of goes with what I'm thinking, because he didn't really have injuries last year. It was all about the concussions. It wasn't about a rib or a finger or an ankle or a knee or thank the Lord that it wasn't about that. I mean, not that I want it to be head trauma, but if he now can stay away from those injuries, which, by the way, he's pretty much stayed away from those injuries when he takes the normal quarterback shots. It's when he hangs on to the ball too long, and then he allows these defenders to kind of build up the hit, and then that's not good, except for the Green Bay one. That wasn't really a major hit, but all the other ones have been. So he's just got to learn to stay away from those. But I think that quote, when I saw that quote, I was like, yeah, this dude's going to show people. He's going to show people. I have faith in Tua, man. I have a lot of faith in Tua. Maybe it's misplaced faith by some of you think, but I think he's going to prove. Those of us that have faith like me in Tua, I think we're going to be proven right in the end. We were already proven right about his play, right? We got a shit ton of people that are completely wrong about Tua, that he couldn't play. Whether they want to admit to you or not or whatever, most of those people that are hanging on to the injury stuff now, those are the people that 90% of their argument was he couldn't play. So now they're, on the injury stuff, which is the obvious thing. We all knew he came in with an injury history. So we knew that was the automatic. That was the only thing I've ever been concerned about with him. That's it. So we got a ton of people that have been proven wrong already. This is the second layer of it all now. Okay? Take care of your body, play smart, learn to live for the next play, the next series, the next game, and you'll prove everybody wrong that you can, stay upright and get it done in this game. All right. Now I'm out of here. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank Sean Stanley, the man that masters this entire platform every single day. Appreciate Sean as always. We will see you all tomorrow morning a little early, because Inside the Paint is tomorrow, not Wednesday. We're moving it up because Ira's got to travel. So there you go. Moving it up. And we'll be here at 8:45 tomorrow morning. Remember, Wednesday we're at the youth fair. It is 2 to 5, right? Am I correct? 2 to 3, 4 to 7? Is it 4 to 7? Okay, 4 to 7 Wednesday is the show. So the show's a later show on Wednesday. If any major story breaks, I might do something early in the morning on Wednesday, real quick. You know what? When I say real quick, you know what that means. Anyway, I'll try to do something short. If something breaks on Wednesday, and we'll get it done. We'll see you all tomorrow, 8:45, same place, same bat channel. Love you all out there.
This is the big